I forgot to take it off and hello everybody and welcome to the Tardis Zone, and this is the Tardis Zone talk. Sorry about that little technical difficulty. I forgot to take the loop off the bleeding video, didn't I? Because you have to do so much behind the scenes with the countdown and the loop, the video saying streaming soon. I have to put a bit of music background in that, and I forgot to knock the bleeding music off. But anyway, I'm not going to dwell around too much and start yapping away, because we do have a panel and I've got to obviously be careful of the time, and I'll put the link in just a second. But if you still remember, after yesterday's live stream, I did say that after the initial shock and bit of grief from some fans, that they would then turn and start pointing the finger at people who were responsible in their eyes for the cancellation of the show. And BadWolf66 sent me a post from someone on X who did YouTube streamers a tier list, and I feature on the list along with Ballstrek and a couple of others that we know, and I'm second last in the list. But when you see who's last in the list, right, and who I tell you who's last in the list, you're going to see how sick these people actually are. To suggest that myself and Ballstrek and others are just as bad as this man just goes to show you how mentally ill these people are. So for anybody that doesn't know, there used to be a guy in the Doctor Who fandom called Vote Saxon. A lot of the lefty side, actually, which is ironic, a lot of the lefty side loved him and they hailed him up on a pedestal. Well, that scumbag decided that he didn't want to be a daddy after he found out his girlfriend was pregnant, and let's just say she's no longer here along with our unborn child, and he has been recently sent to prison for ending her existence. Right? So apparently, me, Ballstreck, and others are just above him in this tier list. So giving opinions on a TV show puts you second last on this mentally ill person's tier list. I actually think it's disgusting that you use the death of an innocent woman and her child to make a point about podcasters that you don't like. I think it's disgusting, actually. That poor woman suffered. That poor woman suffered, right? And he was meticulous about the way he went about it as well. And still to this day, his live stream, that particular live stream, is still up, and people have analysed it. And the more people analyse it, there's certain parts of that live stream where he said things where he would have been there at that moment, ending that poor woman's fucking life. But apparently, because I give bad opinions on a TV show, I'm just above him on that tier list, above a scumbag like that, because I gave opinions. I told you this was going to happen, and listen, I don't really care. It just shows how mentally ill these people are, right? It just shows that you can't have an opinion about Doctor Who, and they label you worse things than that. But I have to say, I've seen some posts over me time where I've been put on lists and threatened to be taken out. But that one beats that one. That one takes the biscuit, to be quite honest with you. To be that disgusting. And basically say we're just as bad as someone who did a heinous act like that is absolutely disgusting. Over a TV show. Over a TV show, because I gave opinions about a TV show that they didn't like. See how mentally ill these people are. Anyway, today we're going to have a panel. You have heard my opinions the last couple of days on this shit show that we do call Doctor Who. And of course, I have actually called this Doctor Who The Wilderness Years 2 ? For anybody out there that thinks I'm saying there's going to be a Wilderness Years Part 2, I put a question mark. It's a question that we're going to ask during the panel anyway, right? So that's why I have framed it this way. So I don't want any nonsense from anybody out there saying Noel is spreading false information, right? I've explained now, so if you don't get it, that's on you. Go and educate yourself or increase your IQ. Do something to make yourself intelligent, because I can't do that for you. Anyway, I'm in no mood to be messing around today. So when I bring people on, okay, don't want anybody cutting across anybody. Let them get their point across. Then give your opinion. There's going to be a few people that's going to come on this panel. So I don't want anybody talking over each other. Okay, that's the only rule I have. Don't talk over each other. Wait until someone finishes their point, and then you can step in. Okay, and I'm going to try my best not to stick in as well. But as I am the host, I can do whatever the feck I like. But I will try and keep to my own rule as well, unless there's a point that I feel that needs to get out there. But everybody else on the panel, just be respectful of others, because some are more chatty than others, as you know. And sometimes those less chatty people do be scared to come on, because they basically have themselves, they're being basically talked over. So let's keep it nice and simple tonight. So link is going in, regulars only. Andrew Jones did try and join yesterday, because he happened to be trolling me on X, which I didn't realise. So that was Andrew Jones yesterday who tried to come on with and tried to troll, as he usually does, because he's a sad individual. So unless they're regular people or people that have asked me to come on, as I said, there's no point to you coming into the studio, because I won't be adding you. I'm only bringing on regulars right now. And of course, Stephen is in the chat there as well. Stephen wants to come on, and I have said Stephen can also come on. So that is it. It'll be the regulars and Stephen. So here we go. It's gone in. Get in as quick as you can because we don't want to hang around tonight. I do know people are watching the World Cup as well. So we want to make these streams not short and sweet, but, not too long either. So we'll wait for people to come in. But look, as I said, a lot of people now that have gotten over the initial shock, those people that, supported these areas now are going to come with full of vengeance and are going to attack people like myself for having the gall, as far as they're concerned, to speak up about this absolute shit show that we've had over the last couple of years. But you know what? They can direct their anger at me all they want, right? They can throw their toys out of the pan and blame everybody else, right, but themselves, right? But the reality is that these guys supported these previous two showrunners, and anybody that dared to speak up was labelled one thing or another. Right? You weren't allowed to have a debate about Jodie Whittaker's doctor. And I do believe if we had been able to have a debate, would there have been much backlash to her doctor? I still say there'd be fans like myself that wouldn't have agreed with a female doctor, right? And I still don't. But the bottom line is, do I believe it would have got as toxic as it did if she didn't behave the way she did? I think this could have been handled so much differently than it was. And that's why there was so much toxicity. And then the media didn't help when you were doing hit pieces day after day on fans for speaking up, saying that the gender swap could possibly damage the show. And it did. And it did. And that's the reality. It actually did. But then Chris Chibnall, obviously, as you know, he's ourselves, wanted to go one step further and started this whole timeless child nonsense, basically rewriting the history of the main character, the Doctor. And now you see some media outlets, even today now with RTD2, saying that the Doctor is a shape-shifting alien. He was never a shape-shifting alien to begin with. He regenerated. He regenerated his cells to survive. But it wasn't shape-shifting. But this is what he's done. Anyway, we do have some panelists inside, so I'm going to get them on straight away because we've got loads to talk about. Obviously, these guys will be reacting on here for the first time in relation to the Christmas special being cancelled. And we will talk about the future as well and what these guys think is going to happen in the next maybe few months, few years from now. And there's plenty to get through. So let me introduce, I'll leave our new guest to last. So we like to bring on a new guest last. So we'll start off with the regular. So we have Jack Rabbit joining us today.
Hello, everyone.
We've also got Mr. PD Rich, which is
Christ, I survived cancer for this, did I? Oh God.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute, but it's lovely to see you. I really mean
You
that.
too,
Absolutely.
I mean that.
Because I know you've been keeping in touch with me, and I know what's been going on. And I'm just delighted that you're here, man. And of course, we got Robert Payne. We wouldn't. Oh, hold on now. Why isn't he letting Robert on? There he is. I was going to say, yeah, you got to let the Welshman on. Don't be doing that to us.
Hello, everybody.
Can't see it on screen. My computer must be messing. Oh, there you are now.
Yeah.
And of course, we've got we like to leave our new a guest that's joining us maybe for the first or second time. I can't remember, Stephen. So if you have been on before, buddy, it's been so long and so much has happened. Forgive me. But as you are here and you haven't been maybe on in a while, we do leave our new guest to last. I'd like to introduce Stephen, who's been in the chat
Hi there.
given
Yes.
his comments,
Crazy.
and it's nice to finally have him on. I know he's been itching to come on for a good while.
What's that?
I said, I know you've been itching to come on for a good while.
I have, yeah. I've been watching you for a long, long time now. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to have you on board. Now, have I missed anybody? Is there anybody? Hold on, I think there's one more name in the studio there. It's probably no, it's not. Okay, we don't have. I don't know. I think some Lee was going to be here. I don't know what's happening with that, so we'll wait.
He is on the way.
There you go. Right. So he's on the way. I kind of wanted Lee to be the first to talk because obviously, back in January, on this channel, he actually broke the news that RTD and Bad Wolf and this, right? And of course, we only recently found out that he's been vindicated. But Jack, obviously, I'll let you because you talk to Lee quite a lot, and you know you are close. So I suppose, what was the feeling like when you found out the news that Doctor Who's Christmas special was scrapped?
Oh, just overjoyed. I mean, it's so great to be vindicated, but I know I shout it quite a bit, and to be honest, even I'm getting sick of talking about it. But he did tell me to F off, so oh, this is just like karma to me. This is absolutely brilliant. But the fact is, this isn't a new development. This actually happened a long time ago, as you said, Noel. So all this time they've just been pulling the wool over our eyes and just making us believe it was still going. And now the genie's finally out the bottle. And, I put one little post on X basically saying it had been dead since 2015. And Christ, I did stir the hornet's nest a bit there, because I mean, it's funny, my X never gets any traction, but you seem to type Doctor Who in and all of a sudden you get a tidal wave wash over you of people going, it's always been woke, it's no. It's just like, yeah, whatever. So it's been absolutely brilliant. And in terms of Lee's source, I can confirm, that, yeah, that this was legit. And like you said, he said it first before anyone else did. I was told not to start, sharing it about or revealing who the person was. So I kind of just took it with a pinch of salt. I was like, for me, I always like to wait and see what happens. I never take a source as 100%, but Lee did, and he was absolutely right. So he deserves credit for that.
Well, you see, this is the thing. I just before now, I'll bring him on. You see, the thing about it is, Jack, me and Lee have been doing this for a long time. So when Lee actually put that out on the channel, the way he did, I knew for a fact that he was 100% certain and that he had basically verified what he had been given. And because that's the thing, Lee just doesn't talk for the sake of talking. And Lee could very easily, be one of the top tier people in this fandom that put out leaked information or source information, but he chooses not to do it. It's not what he wants to do.
But it's interesting.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's interesting because we didn't go looking for a source, but as you know, me and Lee were quite into our Doctor Who collecting, so we actually met this person through something else. And It turned out this person was like, wow, I'm not going to reveal who, and he's a lovely guy. I've had the pleasure of speaking to him as well, because we do like to, despite what's happened with the show, we still collect Doctor Who model kits and figures, as you know, and me especially, I love my Daleks. So meeting this person was cool, and the stuff he said and it really kind of made me go, wow. And I wasn't trying to say, when I said I take everything with a pinch of salt, I just, I wasn't saying I disbelieved, but I'm just the kind of thing I want to see it actually happen first, because I don't want to get my hopes up. I've gotten my hopes up way too many times.
Well, let's bring him on and let's get a few words from Lee on this, because it's. I know everybody is, and Jack has mentioned it there, that he's over the moon, you know what I mean? And there are a lot of fans that are celebrating right now because, you know, it was probably the only proper thing to do with Doctor Who right now because, as I said, my fear was it would be dragged through the mud, and unfortunately, that's exactly what's happened. It's dragged through the mud for far too long. So I can understand the celebration, but I'm going to admit, while I'm glad it is off TV, I'm heartbroken. I'm not going to lie, and I actually had a bit.
Oh. What
That's
happened?
Hello?
Noah's audio.
Go on,
Oh,
mate, take
dear.
away.
Oh, dear.
When I
You
put that
cut out.
up on, you know what I mean? It's
No, did you cut out?
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, damn. I was just saying last night or the other night I had a bit of a moment when I put up that clip of Event Time in Space. I was all right during the live stream, and then
Pretty much worked
I
on
saw
that.
everybody was celebrating and mocking Doctor Who, and it kind of got under my skin a little bit. But
Well, the
I
thing-
understand. But you see,
the
the
thing
thing
is,
about it is I don't want anybody thinking that I'm giving out. I'm not. I understand it, but from my point of view, right, while I am relieved that the show is off air and can't be damaged any further, I am fucking gutted, lads. I'm not going to lie. I'm
Yeah.
actually.
Well, here's the
really
thing.
upset.
Here's the thing. So for me, and I'm going to let everyone obviously get their point out with what they have to say about this. But look, this is as someone who grew up with the show as a kid. It's and this relates to the post that I actually put on X. I believe that the show has been dead since 2017. It started to die round about 2015 when they really started going on the whole man bashing thing, which I can't forgive them for. And I mean, you could argue they started that from day one, but that's the most horrible thing. It's accepting that the thing you grew up with might have always been shite from day one. It's something I'm going through at the moment. But actually, I just feel like a sense of relief. I could almost describe it like, let's say you have a tooth that really needs taking out and it causes you pain. Lee knows why I'm using this as an example. But I've used so it's a tooth that really needs to come out. It's been causing you a lot of grief for years, and it finally comes out, and it's just the relief you feel. And I understand why many people will grieve, because Doctor Who's not around. But if we're being completely honest, has it really been Doctor Who for like the past 8 to 10 years? It hasn't. So I don't see it as Doctor Who being killed. I see this as the first step to Doctor Who being saved. In many ways, I've been able to mourn it. And I think I'm actually in a better place with the show now than I was 2 years ago. With the steelbook of the TV movie coming out and being able to enjoy that in 4K. And of course, the lost episodes from Dalek's Master Plan being found. It's amazing that despite all the things that have gone wrong with this terrible mimic show, the real Doctor Who is still, you've still got things to look forward to with that. And as I say, in terms for me, I've actually gone back and watched Impossible Planet and Satan Pit. And do you know what, Noel? It's still a masterpiece. I still love it. So I can still, I have my things that I don't like about RTD's original era anymore. Sadly, it hasn't got that untouchable, it's perfect no matter what thing it does when you're a kid. But the good stories are still very good, and I can choose to watch them whenever I want. So I don't think we should see this as the death of Doctor Who. We should see this as the first step to maybe one day getting good Doctor Who again. Although, and I'm sure many people will go into great depths about this, the only worry I have now is who is going to take it up. That's my biggest worry, and what kind of fans are going to get hold of it, because without dropping names, you don't want someone who, like the guy who called for the death of Conservatives, bringing the show back. You want someone who just wants to make a show. And that's why I say, unless the culture shifts, the cycle is doomed to repeat itself. And that's just the truth. So people who want the show back by 2028 or 9, I'm sorry, no, it's got to go away for longer. Things have got to change before Doctor Who can come back. So that's my 2 cents on it. Sorry, I'll let everyone else have a blast now.
That's grand. I think this is a nice little segue for Lee to say a few words now.
Hello everyone. I see
Hey,
some
Lee.
familiar faces there and some
Hi, Lee.
familiar people in the chat. Yes. Well, the trouble is with the tooth pulling analogy is it leaves a gaping hole, which I'm sure Russell T Davies is more than familiar with. But I will say, you know, what I mentioned on January the 6th in 2025, was it? It was a while ago now. That was information that I had heard from the Christmas in 2024.
Jesus, long time ago, mate. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, well, isn't it? Hold on, was it 2025? I can't remember.
No, Lee, it was 25. I know it was because by that point,
January.
yeah, it was 25. It can't have been 24.
It's
No,
Christmas
no,
Eve,
no,
yeah.
no, no, no. 25 was
May 25 was the last shooty episodes, wasn't it?
yeah.
But I mean,
When I was given the information, if you go back and you can find it, I mean, I learned the year before that because of the Christmas period was when I was told what had happened, and that was information that had been passed on for something that had happened halfway through that year. So we're talking like a good couple of years here.
Yeah.
So this is when Doctor Who aired with Ncuti Gatwa. Disney, RTD, Gatwa were already out.
It was already gone.
Already gone. So all this nonsense, you know, that that this was all very recent. You know, Gatwa left because of the Eurovision thing or whatever else it was. RTD writing the Christmas special. Yeah, all this. When he says, I never wrote the script, and people say, yeah, that's bullshit. I tend to believe that. I'm not saying that Murray Gold lied. I'm saying maybe he was misquoted or maybe he had read drafts, because obviously the first 2 seasons of Gatwa were done sequentially. They were done one after the other. So it was all in one shooting schedule. So there may have been scripts leading from that, multiple different scripts. But none of them, I don't think, would have involved Billy Piper, for example. But that was the last.
No, but you also remember, Lee, just to cut across you just once, and I won't do it again. But if you all remember, Stephen Moffat, there was rumours that Stephen Moffat was supposed to be originally making this Christmas special as well. So it would actually make sense if there were no scripts by RTD, if Chibnall, if Moffat was the one that was supposedly supposed to be doing it, but then obviously he ended the show the way he ended the show, and then.
Well, remember when they were doing reshoots? Remember that they were filming something additional, and everyone was like, "Oh, what are they doing? What are they doing?" That was the regeneration thing, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah,
yeah. How long ago was that?
oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah,
I didn't.
You're in London.
I didn't take it seriously because I just, like I say, I just wanted confirmation because, like, as we all know, fans tend to make up a load of rubbish. So,
well, there are certain channels who have their BBC sources or BBC professionals and BBC this and BBC that insiders and all this kind of stuff.
Nah.
And 2 weeks ago saying, the Sun newspaper headline about Doctor Who being Christmas cancelled, being Christmas special being cancelled was a load of rubbish. BBC Insider said, no, it's going ahead. That's going to start filming soon. It's going to start Billy Piper, blah, blah. BBC Insider, BBC this, BBC that. My sources. Bullshit. 2 weeks ago. Where's that apology? Where's that? No, instead we get people doubling down and saying, my insider, my source is now going to put in however many millions to tender for the show for Doctor Who. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? You're actually telling me that your BBC insider is going to stump up the cash to bring Doctor Who back? I think you've been sold down the river and you're selling your followers and your audience down the river. And we don't do that on this channel, do we, Noel? We tell it when we know for sure that what we're saying isn't bull. You know, we do our best to do our due
And,
diligence.
And as Lee's friend, you know, I can confirm because I heard this stuff before it happened. So, you know, for the first time ever, I've actually kind of been unintentionally in the loophole there. So, you know, and like I say, we didn't go looking for this person, did we, Lee? We were just, you know, he
I just
helped
ended up
us.
having a general conversation about something
Yeah.
else, and it just, well, you know, one of those conversations where you're just talking for hours and hours and hours without the intention of doing so. It just,
Yeah, and then it
went
just goes on
for hours, and then it just sort of, all this stuff started trickling out. I was like, oh crikey. So
I
I
remember
didn't
you came up and told me, and the first thing I wanted to do was go, no. But you said no. We wanted to respect this person's wishes, keep his identity, obviously, you know, off that, and that's what we're gonna do. But now everything has come to fruition. It's like, well, I think that proves credibility right there.
I mean, I will still argue, and people will disagree with me on this, that, you know, Russell T Davies leaving is a recent thing. It is not. He has proven in his statement that he put out on Instagram that he has lied to you. Not only has he lied to you, he's lied to you for 2 years. Okay, this isn't a recent thing. He's been lying to you since the first episode was aired. They knew this was not what Disney wanted. Disney were out the minute they saw the church on Ruby Road, and Russell T Davies was out.
He was gone.
Friction between him and Gatwa as well. During the filming, there was an issue with Millie Gibson. Remember, all that happened.
Oh yeah.
And, look.
And also, and don't forget, Gatwa on the Graham Norton show. That's why he got into so much trouble.
Why was that? Yeah. Why was that redacted? Why was Shooty saying
was reprimanded?
Why would he say the show's coming back for a third season with him as the Doctor? Sick. And why was that redacted then? Because then he may not have known it then, but he and Russell and all of them lot were already gone. Maybe he was left out of the loop. Maybe that's why he had a strop. Maybe that's why
I think he was left out of the loop. I don't think RTD informed Gatwa either. I think that relationship broke down very quickly, to be quite honest with you. If you look at the photographs of them when they first appeared together, they looked like a loved-up couple. That relationship soured shortly after. He was reprimanded. Remember, the press even commented on this as well. He was reprimanded by RTD for smoking, being caught smoking on set, and for the use of bad language.
Being late. Tardy, you know. I mean,
Millie Gibson. The fans were saying that the media were picking on Millie Gibson. No, Millie Gibson was a diva, folks. Now, I have no problem with a diva, but she was an actual diva, and just because the media reported on it, apparently the media were bad.
Look at it this way: she was on set before Gatwa, all right. So she had to film a whole load of stuff for, I think, a good couple of weeks before he turned up, because he was still filming the other thing. So she'd established herself already there, and then he rocks up, and apparently I think the scheduling was so bad that he was constantly not there or appearing late, and she got really fed up with it. And on the night shoot she was doing as well. So I think there was a lot of friction there already, and
that's why they replaced him.
Well, I think the rumor at the time, I can't substantiate this one, so I will say this as rumor, and I won't say go take it to the bank like I did on the 6th of January. I will say she apparently complained to RTD, and RTD chose him over her, apparently, allegedly. So I don't know, won't there? But we will find out over time. Over time, we will.
For a feminist writer, he sure hates women.
Well, have you noticed he's always had a problem with his actors?
Eccleston.
Yep.
What else? We've had John Barrowman. Noel Clark has got thrown under the bus as well. We've had obviously Shooty Gatwa. We've had Millie Gibson. Anyone else?
All the fans.
Christopher
Well, I
Eccleston.
mean,
Michael wants to come back for another season.
Eccleston. You forgot Eccleston, the main one. Eccleston.
First. I said Eccleston first.
Did you?
Okay. Yeah, you weren't paying attention. You never listen to me now.
Pay attention, Kevin.
And so I mean, he just comes across as a right old bully, doesn't he?
Total.
what shocks me is he's, as you say, Lee, he's been gone for so long, and yet he still appears on all those not documentaries, those publicity things with Moffat, to promote the Christmas special, where he does the infamous "spend your life in Premier Inns," and then he goes on that Doctor Who fan channel with the chicken or beef, or what was it, the tea and cappuccino, whatever that thingamabob, and goes, "I'm being sucked off into the time vortex." Oh God, Jesus! It's like, I'm like, you've been gone for how long? And the game he's had to play. What about that interview? Because I've got so much material, guys, from the past 2 years. It's insane. It's just,
I bet you have.
It's like even that one where he goes, "Oh, there's nothing written at the moment, but we're ready. We're ready whenever." It's like, and all this time he knew that the thing was over.
Yeah.
You knew it was over. So imagine having to keep up that facade for that long just because you didn't want to admit that you failed.
It's all because they spent all this time. They spent all this time trying to eke it out slowly and to get control of the narrative for as long as possible and not to spook any potential investors. The reason why this has been spun out this long is because obviously in the background they've been trying to court AMC, they're trying to court anyone, Amazon, whoever. So they've obviously been trying to, through the back channels, trying to get new deals sorted. Look how long it took them to admit that Disney were out.
Yeah.
Remember how long that took?
So he's basically trying to sell it. It's like going at £1, going at 75, 25, a quick BJ at TK Maxx, anything, just anything. Come on, someone, I need to take it, please.
So yeah, it's all spin. It's all been spin. It's all lies.
Of course has. They haven't. Look, the man.
That's the contempt he has for his audience.
Yeah, I mean, his statement. We'll get into his statement in a minute, Lee. But his statement literally showed the contempt he had. But I want to get the three lads' opinions here. So we'll ask Stephen what he thinks of the cancellation of the Christmas special, and what do you think is going to happen down the line? How long do you think it'll stay off air, Stephen? Or have you even thought about that?
Well, I'm still processing it, but first of all, thanks for letting me on. I've been wanting to come on for quite some time.
No problem.
And I've actually got very mixed emotions about it. Like Charlotte said in the chat, I've had to deal with something that I've had part of my life since the late 60s. I mean, I've been watching it since late Patrick Troughton. So I had to go through all the first cancellation, which was terrible. Then the movie, then it came back and it was wonderful for a time. And then it all went to pieces after Capaldi left. And it's been like watching a slow train crash. But now you always have that bit of hope. And that hope was finally extinguished with that statement from the BBC. And then on top of it, you had RTD literally lying the whole time, dangling that cruel string in front of everyone that there was something coming. And I've literally seen people like melt down all over this. I've got two friends at work who got into Doctor Who and the newer stuff, and they're angry. They've tried. Some of them have vowed never to watch it again.
These people have been, the fans have been standing this for ages, and they've been up RTD's bottom and Chibnall's bottom all this time. But they were the ones who enabled them to continue with their behaviour.
I quite agree that these two fans at work were not like that. They
no, of course not.
Like the last two Doctors at all. They actually gave a cheer when the last Doctor left. But they loved Matt Smith, they loved Capaldi, they loved Tennant. That was their Doctor. But they've watched it slowly die and they've slowly drifted away.
But then, could you not say to your friends? I mean, yeah, but it hasn't been Doctor Who for a long time. So, like I say, that's where I'm at. You know, they can still enjoy 9, 10, 11, and 12, and they can ignore the nonsense. I mean, we're treating it as if, I feel like a lot of people are treating it like the thing that's been dead for 10 years has just died, and it's very weird to me. It's like, whereas my feelings, as I said, are more like relief. Other people are like, oh, this thing's just died. It's like, newsflash, guys, it's been a zombie for 10 years. You've just put it out of its misery.
It's been in the coma, it's been brain dead for 10 years, and it's just the life support just got switched off. That's
but that being said, they're every year, because I was the same, Jack, I can understand Stephen's friends' kind of reaction to it, because I always lived in hope that the showrunner, even if it was Chibnall, even if it was RTD, that maybe the next season they'll get it right. And that's where I think a lot of this actually comes from. Every year, fans for the last 10 years have been living in hope that the next season will be better than the next. And that's where I think it comes from. I'm glad you've been able to get to that point. But a lot of other fans out there are just not at that point right now. They can't, they're still trying to process what happened. And to them, it only happened yesterday. Do you know what I mean?
And I don't say this. I'm not saying this as a person talking down, like, you idiots, you're still into. I'm not like that at all. What I'm trying to help in many ways. I'm trying to get you to sort of. I mean, Noel, you know where I was 2 years ago. You know how angry I was. I couldn't watch any Doctor Who. I couldn't. You know, I actually feel a little bit better. I wouldn't say I'm binging it or, you know, thing, but I'm in a better place now, because this news that this rubbish that has been masquerading as my once favorite show is over, if anything, has made me go, oh, you know, now I can go and gradually get back into it again without the worry that this utter thingamabob is, you know, insert whatever word you want, is going to ruin my childhood even more. You know, so I know lots of people will be upset, but I think this is actually a happy time. And I know some of you will call me crazy. Like, I get it. If that's your opinion, that's fine. But I think now is a really good time, because the show can't be hurt anymore. Now, the one thing that we got to worry about is who gets control of the wilderness years. But that's for an entirely different topic, I'd imagine. Because what I worry is, horror of horrors, these leeches, these parasites never let it go. And, you know, we've never had to deal with anything like this before. The last wilderness years was very different. It sounded like a lot of people really did have a great time during that period. And, you know, Doctor Who wasn't hated. Now it's hated. And this is very different. And yeah, relying on my generation to bring it back, you know, my generation's going through a bit of a, we're getting sick and tired of everything. Everything's been spoiled for us, all our favorite franchises and everything. So, you know, bringing the show back again might be quite difficult, but at least we can be assured that, you know, you've got a show that if you're a massive new Who fan, like your friends are at work, you can say to them, well, you know, you got 12 years of an absolutely fantastic show that's not going to be ruined even more. So now, you know, you can mourn it properly.
Also, they can go back and look at Classic Who as well.
Yeah, they should. And I've never understood. I mean, I was 7 years old at the time. And as I say, huge Dalek fan. And as soon as I discovered that there were more, I went back and watched it. And, you know, I only had the occasional Classic Who story for the longest time. But then when I got so sick and tired of Moffat's rubbish, it inspired me to go back and watch all of the classic series, you know. And I just never understand these fans who are like, oh, no, just New Who. I don't like the old show. It's like, okay, whatever.
It's always that bunch of people who say that, who are also the same people who will tell you that, oh, Doctor Who's always been woke. It's like, yeah, right. Point to me the episode where the monsters mutilated and sterilized children, or where the monsters speech. And
people think,
yeah, I'm okay with that.
People think that wokeism is, it's of the left. No, it's classic liberal. The show has always been classic liberal, but yet it had conservative writers who were the best, by the way. But it has always been classic liberal. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm in the center, so for me it's cool. But wokeness is an entirely different animal. And, unfortunately, it has been there in New Who. I mean, me and Lee have been doing a rewatch, and I actually really enjoyed season 8 more than I thought I was going to. Never liked it as a kid, enjoyed it this time. Couldn't stand series 7. I couldn't believe the one-liners and the jabs at men and the stuff that was in there. Stuff that when I was a kid would have gone completely over my head because you weren't looking for it. I just couldn't believe how shite the episodes were. But unfortunately, this stuff has been there from the very beginning. And I think Terrence Dicks and Barry Letts, who, by the way, Barry was a liberal, Terrence was a conservative, and they were best of friends. God, I wish I grew up at that time. It's like, they had misgivings about New Who from the start. They would often leave these little jabs if you watch the Classic Who special features, it's great. Terrence especially was constantly jabbing at how over-sexualized and silly the new show had become, so it's just two different animals. But I think for me, what really hurts the most is New Who was my show. David Tennant was my doctor. He was my hero. And I'll never forget when I met him at the Shakespeare Theatre in Stratford, when my drama teacher, bless her heart, she had a spare ticket and I wasn't even in the drama group, and she brought me along because I wanted to meet Tennant so much. And and then the 60th happens and I see a side to him I hope was never there, and now that's my childhood hero gone. I've gone back to Classic Who and I fell in love with Pertwee and I absolutely love him, but he died before I was even born. So, and there are some in this chat and even on this panel, Lee, who actually got to meet him. I'm so jealous for you right now, because my heroes turned out to be a right tit. And I can't,
I did tell you about what happened when I met Tom, though.
Yeah,
well,
but,
he was
yeah,
saying
but,
Tom was right. Yeah, but hang on. If Tom Baker is calling you out, he's right to call you out.
I was wet behind the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Go on,
I got out
Philip, go on.
of Capaldi. I've always liked classic. I went back into classic. Classic is now my go-to for Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
I watch all the time. I've been really enjoying going back and watching recons, telesnaps, the new episodes which came back. I'm hoping more come back. And you can really go back and see the rich history of what they were doing from 63 to 89. It was a completely golden era, and that's still there. RTD cannot take that away from us.
He can try.
he's tried
He has
to.
tried.
It's like,
Failed.
Time as children. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
God.
But could you show your friends at work, would they be interested in Inferno, maybe?
I've already started. I've lent them some old stories, and they absolutely love them.
Brilliant.
I lent them Genesis of the Daleks, and what was the other one I lent? Mind of Evil. And they couldn't believe how good it was compared to the... They actually said to me, why have we been watching this? Because is this what Doctor Who used to be? And I said, this is what it used to be like.
Yeah.
I would say if for the kids, I'd have started with something like Remembrance, bangs, explosions, lots of things going on. But my first ever story was Day of Armageddon from Dalek's Master Plan. So no idea how overjoyed I was to have more episodes from that story. And as a young kid, I didn't care about the cardboard sets or the wobbliness. Just seeing Daleks on the screen, in black and white, which made them look way creepier. And that creepy music, and even as a break from Nick Briggs's really camp voice, it was just the old Dalek voices. They're so much better. I mean, all right, not the 80s ones, but yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, the 80s ones were a bit borrowed.
It's like, yeah, it's
Leave
terrible.
me alone.
But that's where I am at the moment. I've got mixed emotions because I'm angry that RTD has killed it when it could have been so good when he brought it back. And he's just killed our show. He was like caretaker, and he's burnt the thing to the ground.
And he told you the news with a smile on his face. That's what annoys me. He took glee in delivering.
I was so dedicated to this show. I mean, he's killed my childhood. I was so dedicated. I was a bit of a loser at school, and I spent a lot of my break times designing a Doctor Who video game. I was that in love with this show, and it just feels like, 10 plus years of my life has been a complete bloody waste of time. And for this man to have such contempt and hatred for me when I've never done anything to him other than question his snobby elitism towards working class people and anyone who disagrees with his politics, that deserved being told to F off and, like I never existed. And it's like,
Jack, you're the better person.
I know, but it's like it's Doctor Who isn't his. Doctor Who, we all have a universe in our heads. We all perceive reality in our own way, and Doctor Who was a big part of mine. So to have the person who brought that about, dismiss me, it is very difficult. And of course, I started with New Who and then got into Classic Who, and then I grew up with them side by side, which is how I loved it. So watching Classic Who on its own without a little sprinkle of New Who just doesn't feel right for me, which sadly makes it very difficult, even though they're both completely different animals.
See, that's the difference though between Classic Who writers and the modern writers that we've had today anyway. Classic Who writers were very aware that the show could end at any time. So they were always top of their game, and they always knew that when they handed it over in the best shape that they could. That's what they tried to do. None of these previous showrunners understand that when they come in, they have a duty of care towards Doctor Who, and whatever they do, they mustn't damage the brand. Now, while people will say RTD won and Moffat won, Moffat may have damaged the brand. For me, the most damage to the brand in the New Who era was done under Chibnall. It was mortally wounded under Chibnall. Anyway, I think, with all of this RTD stuff that's going on and us angry at RTD, and we have every right to be angry at him, by the way, let's not forget Chris Chibnall's role in this as well, because he's the one that's mortally wounded the show with the timeless child nonsense and trying to change the origins of the First Doctor. That cannot be forgotten. Cannot be forgotten, because that opened the door then for this psychopath to come back in and do what he did. And nobody can convince me, by the way, that he did not come in and do whatever he did deliberately. That was all I will say. That is a man with an ego that brought Doctor Who back in 2004, brought it back to the screens in 2005, never wanted anybody to take over after him. It's fucking clear now that he didn't even want Moffat to take over, because there was always this little bit of rivalry, but they tried to play it down. The bottom line is that his ego was so fucking big, he thought, well, I could bring Doctor Who back from the wilderness, and I can also end it. And that's what he did with this Disney thing. And I keep saying it, why Disney Plus or Disney have not sued him for negligence, right? Because Lee is right? When Disney saw what they got, when BBC saw what they got, they were fucking shocked, right? And he's gone, and people think he's only gone like the last couple of days or the last couple of weeks. He's gone a year or two at least now, a year and a half at least, right? He was gone straight away. That's why Disney haven't even bothered to show the war between the land and the sea. Why would they? It's tripe, just along with all the other tripe he gave them. And that 60th anniversary was the David Tennant Wankfest. It wasn't even the fucking 60th anniversary, right? So nobody can convince me.
It wasn't even his script.
Was to come back to destroy Doctor Who. Nothing else. He didn't come back to save it. He didn't come back to make it better. He came back to use it as a personal tool, and he didn't give a shit whether he destroyed that show or not. And
told you from day one. He told you as far back. He told you as far back as when he stood on that podium to accept his award. The thing that first made me and Lee raise an eyebrow. And I tell you what, everyone, well, no one will, but if you know that story, The Giggle, from the 60th anniversary, he did a behind-the-scenes thing for the bi-generation, the stupid load of bollocks, and he ravits on about it, how he's always wanted to do the idea, and he says something very specific I think even Gary from Nerdrotic clipped this, but he's just like, imagine how much fans love new things and will really rejoice when this happens. And I tell you, listen to that. That is him just hissing himself laughing. That's him laughing at the fans like these stupid, stupid idiots. That's what it was a troll from the start. You know, I remember during lockdown when this whole thing was this rumor that he's decided to come back. You know, he decided to come back to punish us all for not liking Chibnall. Like that's what it honestly came across. And honestly, I think these people have been grifting the show since the very start. I think Doctor Who was something that they knew was a show people wanted to see again. So let's make it in our image. Let's not stay true to what Doctor Who originally was. And RTD's always had this attitude, because if you go back even further to 2005, he spoke about how other fans say they don't like the logo. Well, I like the logo, so that's what's important. Or something along the lines of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like, it's my way or the highway.
Yeah, I didn't like that logo. I got to be honest, it's still the worst logo of the New Who era, in my opinion. I wasn't a fan of the Moffat one either, but at least the other one never grew on me, got to be honest with you. But Robert, would you like to add your 2 cents to the conversation here?
Yes, well, it's not been a surprise, is it? I mean, we've got... the way that RTD has been stringing us out, and especially unkindly towards the fans of his who have given some credibility to him and want their version of the Doctor Who back as soon as possible. He's really taken people for granted and sort of, ha ha ha, I've got it all, and just, I'm clever, aren't I? You know, and. Yeah, he deserves every criticism he gets, because my reaction to the actual announcement has really been more relief, tinged with a bit of disappointment, because I was hoping that we're always hoping as fans that it's going to be better in the next episode. You know, you're just holding on for hope. Will it be better? Could it? Surely can't be any worse. You know, but it's a relief that they stopped in the dog, you know. They stopped.
Here's a question I want to ask you, because you're from Wales. How will this impact the Welsh economy?
Well, I'm not sure at the moment, because we've got a new type of government since the local elections. We got Plaid Cymru in charge now instead of Labour. Now they're both socialist governments, and they're both a bit stupid as far as giving money away that isn't theirs. So it's going to affect some of the economy as far as, unless the TV industry picks up a bit more and there's more Welsh productions in Wales, as it were, then, I mean, the money they give to Bad Wolf and other production companies isn't specifically for Doctor Who. They don't care whether it's Doctor Who being made or anything else. So they just want to give jobs, don't they? They're just trying to fund jobs from the Senate. But I've seen posts on Facebook and various other places where various local councils or highways agencies have said, look, such and such place is going to be blocked off for filming in the next couple of months, so go another way around to Merthyr Mawr, like, you know. So, of course, because historically we've had things filmed in Wales, people assume anything filmed in Wales is Doctor Who. And on a side note, one of the background things in Doctor Who, a couple of times, the power station in Aberthaw, the chimney came knocked down today. They blew it up. So that's one landmark gone again. So, but no, it's becoming a historic moment. It's like when Welsh pop was popular in the 90s. We went through, Stereophonics, Manic Street Preachers, and all that, and Kerry's Mouth. It was all a big thing in the 90s, wasn't it? And that came and went, and so is the TV boom in Wales has come and went, because it's just people are thinking, oh well, we're fed up of Wales, now we go somewhere else, and then it'll be somebody else's turn. It'll be Ireland's turn, or Scotland's turn, or North of England's turn.
Has someone got YouTube on in the background? Because anytime Robert is talking, there's a bit of echo. If
Yeah, I
you
hear
do,
the echo. I've not got YouTube on,
Not me.
and I got everything muted and everything. You know.
Mine's muted. Yeah, same here.
right, just mute it because there seems to be interference there. PD, of course, I'll get your opinion now, and then we'll talk about his statement because that statement was just pure. I don't give two fucks. I mean, listen, it's at least with Jane, as I said, her statement. You could show she wasn't having a dig. She was just basically, thank you for the opportunity, blah, 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 being grateful. Yeah. Whereas RTD was different. He's like, I'm out of here. Fuck you. It's talking results. But PD, I want to ask you about the cancellation first. I mean, it isn't a surprise, is it?
No, I'm quite thankful actually. I'm quite thankful. But same with Stargate at the moment and Star Trek, they're at rest.
Yeah.
And no one can screw them around at the moment. They're just all at rest. But I'm pissed off with the way the BBC, Bad Wolf, and Russell T Davies have handled this whole sordid affair. Because he's kept the crew on standby as well for all this crap.
Yeah.
He's been lying to the crew about what's going to happen in the scripts in future. So they go and dish out false rumours online. This has been one hell of a play by Russell T Davies. And just to him to have to go around at the end and say, oh, fuck off, I'm going over to Channel 4 to make Queers Folk free, pisses me off. I think the guy should be kicked out of the industry, personally.
Well, he's going to be, the more he annoys everybody, he's going to be marginalised anyway, isn't he? If he treats people the way he does.
I mean,
I hope so, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is, everyone goes on as an activist. He's been an activist since Queer of Folk, mate. So, yeah, you can't really... The only reason he didn't do it through the first tenure of Doctor Who is the BBC had him under their thumb to a certain extent. And they were putting their foot down with him when he was trying to do some really crazy stuff. But the second time, there's had no one above him. It's just had Julian Jane. And they're, oh, yes, we're best buddies with Russell T Davies. We'll let him do whatever he wants. Even though they should have stepped in and said, excuse me, don't do that, Russell. We have no job come Wednesday morning if we do that. But they don't care because they've got other productions in their studio anyway. Yeah. Quite frankly, I think Sony should... Sorry, dude.
No, it's just insane that this guy can effectively murder a 50-plus-year-old franchise and then still be a multi-millionaire and just get to fail on upwards with absolutely zero consequences. Oh, well, that was the end of that then, so let's just move on to the next thing. And it's like, how dare you? You've destroyed hundreds of legacies, a lot of which are no longer here, that are passed on. You've completely wiped an entire culture with your ass, and now you just get to move on and constantly be surrounded by your little echo chamber and never face any consequences or criticism or take responsibility for any of your actions. There's no justice in this bloody world.
And this is the result of a culture that refuses. This is a very typically English thing, I have to say, of not complaining, or when you complain, oh, we don't do that here. And this is the culture of blind brand loyalty. You follow brand, you support brand. Brand can never do any wrong. Brand knows that you will give them brand loyalty, no matter what they do.
Trek, mate. Yeah.
And then they'll just gradually decrease the quality until you don't notice. They won't complain because they buy product, and it doesn't matter how bad product gets. They'll keep buying it. Even if they're complaining about it, they'll still watch it. They'll keep buying it because they hope it gets better, but they won't put their head above the parapet. And no one gets held to account. And when you have that culture that needs to stop, it will carry on. It's a corporatization of everything. BBC got greedy. They got absolutely fat on the desire and of foreign American money to fund their excesses, because the horrid working class were kicking up a stink. So they had to go and make it as appealing as possible and as less British as possible to an American audience, when the American audience simply want a British show. So they don't understand it. They never have. And they're constantly trying to chase that American money. They're doing it now because they've got no faith in themselves and to make the show for us again. I'm
What's
telling you,
wrong?
if you make the show ours again, if you make the show a British show again, a small pokey little show that we love, it will become popular in America again. Easy.
What's wrong with Australian money anyway? I mean,
Yeah, well, they threw
Yeah.
them under the bus as well, didn't they?
yeah,
With
yeah,
Disney.
you know,
Yeah, but seriously, I mean, I think it all comes down to trends as well, Lee. Because I was discussing it with a friend of mine earlier. BBC like to jump on trends. Russell T Davies likes to jump on trends. The whole industry likes to jump on trends, but trends only last for like 5 or 10 minutes. Instead of trend setting, they'd rather
Yeah.
just jump on a trend. That's all this activism stuff.
Well, that's why
Trend
so
jumping.
much a Tennant's era.
Yeah.
It's so cringe because it's got so many 2000isms. You've
Yeah.
got Gatwa, who's the definition of 2025.
Yeah.
You know, and that's already, you know, even when they finished filming it before it was even broadcast was dated.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the problem. The Doctor is supposed to be a space alien out of time, out of space, who's trying to be an English gentleman and getting it
Yeah.
completely wrong.
Yeah.
He's an anachronism. And when you make the Doctor a trendy character and a human being,
Yeah.
you lose that. You've
Yeah.
lost the central. No one can justify that to me as being, oh, well, you know, Peter Davison was the most human Doctor. Why can't we have not the same thing at all? He still had the look of someone who was just completely out of time and
Yeah.
got it wrong. You know, slightly older than he looked.
It's like when me and you were watching School Reunion because Anthony Head had died, so I had this urge to watch School Reunion because I wanted to. I always loved his performance, and
Best
I've
master
got-
we never had.
yeah, I got to
Yeah.
be real. I couldn't stand Tennant in that story. I couldn't stand the humor. I couldn't stand how cringe he was. I was just like, you know, this is worse than I remember. I'm like, why
Also
did
his
they
first
have to make
episode.
him?
Yeah.
Why
Well,
did they
after-
have to make him like this?
after Matt Smith and Capaldi, I think we, looking back at Tennant now, we see how gimmicky he was and how sort of,
Yeah.
hello, I'm English, I am here. You know,
Yeah.
He always
What-
came
what-
across as a used car salesman to me. rather than-
yeah, well, not even as
Yeah.
stylish as that, really. He's just,
But
And-
also making Sarah Jane an ex.
Yeah.
And explicitly
yeah.
implying that she was his ex, that there was more to it than their
Yeah.
friendship. I'm like, no.
and
No,
that she
no,
spent
no.
that she spent all these years since, this 40-odd years since,
Pining.
over him. Like, you
Well,
know,
that's the thing. You're a feminist writer. You want to make strong women, so you take a strong woman and you cripple her and make her
Yeah.
into an absolute joke.
An
Yeah.
emotional-
oh, I knew somebody
An
once, oh, but he didn't love
Yeah.
me. Oh.
Oh, God.
No, she's Sarah Jane, right?
Well, he did that with
Sarah-
Freeman Ackerman.
Sarah Jane
Yep.
is a gun-toting, Martian shooting, you know, pyramids of Mars sort of sharpshooter. She and looks after herself and telling people, look, you know, don't tell me what to do and don't tell me. See the way she reacted to the
No,
first people she came across
Well,
on a
look-
different planet. You know,
look
don't
at
talk to me
how-
like that. No, she's like,
They changed
oh,
her
I'm
in,
old. I am now, and oh,
yeah,
I
they changed
dismissed-
her in Sarah Jane Adventures as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
When this woman who was
Oh my
abducted or
God,
something when
yes.
she was younger, and then no one believed her. Then it became clear that, you know, Sarah Jane was, you know, involved with aliens and stuff, and she got to see that, and then it was wiped from her memory. And she, well, no, it was wiped from everyone else's memory, wasn't it? Or she wasn't sure. I can't remember.
No.
I'll tell you.
It was, yeah. So some people had their memories erased. Some people just said nothing. But this woman had basically spent her whole life being laughed at and ridiculed because she was saying aliens were real when they actually were. No one believed her. She finally got the proof and the closure that she needed. And what was Sarah Jane's response? Not to say to her, yes, it is real, but it will be our little secret, and a smile and a wink and, you know, a nice little moment for her. No, you're crazy. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
And
that was
I
so
felt
wrong.
sick. I was like, who wrote this? Because I used
the
to
Blitz
love
stuff,
Sarah
probably.
Jane. I used to love Sarah Jane Adventures when I was a kid. I can only watch about half the show now because the other half is just insufferable shite.
I think it proves just how much of a sociopath he must be allowed to write for Doctor Who under RTD's run. You know,
Yeah.
it seems to me you've got this kind of elite clique who have to toe the line, have to have a certain mindset, which is a quite extremist one, frankly.
Elite click of trendies, I have to say, because
or those chasing for trend clicks.
Yeah,
exactly. They don't set trends; they follow them.
Yeah,
to appeal to a younger audience who are more astute.
Sorry, guys. I just want to hand it over to Steve because I did talk over him, and I feel really bad about that. Also, love the cat, by the way.
I love the cat.
I want to let Steve talk because I did cut him off. So sorry about that.
It's grand. You're not coming on again.
That's okay. I'm prepared for this.
I'm only joking with you. Anyway, Steve.
That's fine.
Do you want to finish your point?
Steve.
We'll read RTD's statement, and then Jack, we'll get your opinion first on actually RTD's statement, because obviously the way you are personally treated by him. And by the way, I was only messing that time by throwing you off the channel. I wouldn't do
it's okay, Noel. I'm used to it.
I love you. It's great. Anyway, Steve, do you want to finish your point off, and we'll get into this RTD?
Is that a no?
Look at the enthusiasm.
Right then, we'll get into RTD's statement then again to remind everybody how much of a prick he actually is, and then we'll get Jack's comments on it first, and then we'll go around the panel. So, Russell T. Davis wrote this, and it's goodbye from me to
No. Can you get Jack to read it?
Yeah,
get Russell T. Davis to read it.
Yeah.
Well, has he got it in front of him?
Goodbye for me. Goodbye for me. Oh, goodbye for me.
I'll send it.
I just want to say he did this to me on the Brown channel. I was literally playing a video game, and he comes up the stairs. And keep in mind, I'm dyslexic, so he shows me something I haven't seen and says, "Read that in the RTD voice. Go on, monkey. Read." I'm just there like, oh god.
You better be paying him for all these impressions, lad.
Can you not put it on screen there? No,
I can't, because the computer will go crazy. I'll send it to you on. Hold on, I'll send it to you on X in the chat. Actually, I'll send it to Jack. Jack, I'm gonna send this to you on X now, right?
Yeah.
I'm on my phone. I'm not sure if I can look at them both without leaving the stream.
Should be able to.
Why have you done this to me, Lee?
I'll just read it.
Oh, yeah, just read it.
We know what he sounds like. We can.
Yeah, we can picture it in our heads.
Boring.
Right, here we go.
Try it.
Shut up.
Right, mute.
This. That means quiet in Irish. Cuteness. Thank you. Right. And so it's goodbye. So it's goodbye from me to Doctor Who. But hello to the big new future for the show, as the BBC announces putting the show out to tender. As a result, there won't be a Christmas special. We only cooked up that to guarantee a future when no one knew what would happen. But now we do know. There is no need for it. You'll have to wait a little bit longer for new Doctor Who, but you'll be waiting for more Doctor Who that one-off, so it's worth it. For the record, there was no script. I never wrote it, and no actor was ever approached to play the next Doctor. You may disagree, fine. Sit in the chair and wait to be proved right. You'll wait a long time. Now I'm excited.
6 months, yeah.
What comes next? We'll keep the theme tune. Will they keep the theme tune? Will they lose the blue box? Will they bring back the? I can never say that fucking word. Draven. Yeah. Whatever. It's all up for grabs, which is so Doctor Who, exciting, unpredictable, and new. Here comes the future. Yeah, you just destroyed the future, you stupid asshole. But see how smug he was. Because I read it that way, because that's how I believe he was.
No. Did you read the PS?
That's how he was putting it out in his own little fucking head. He doesn't give a shit. He told you there. He lied to you. And someone still has YouTube on the background. Lads, stop now for a minute. if you have YouTube on the background, you have to mute YouTube in the background. If you don't, there's going to be echo, and if there's echo, people at home can't listen to the stream properly. So knock YouTube off or get out of YouTube altogether, right? The bottom line is there's the chat in the StreamYard section there. You can, if that's why you have YouTube on, because you want to see what's going on in the chat. It's on the studio on the side there. So please do that, because there's terrible echo coming through. Okay, so thank you. I'll start off with you, Jack, first, because obviously, you know, he told you to fuck off and blah blah blah. We all know what happened. But what a smug statement from a smug, arrogant individual, because that's exactly what that statement was, wasn't it, Jack?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's the fact that it's the whole, like, you know, sit in the chair, you'll be waiting for a long time. You know, it's just, God, he's not even hiding his contempt at this point, you know, or not that he ever really hid it in the first place. But yeah, I mean, do you know what? The more he behaves like this, the more material it gives me. You know, I'm not even angry anymore. It's like, dude, you are a joke to me. You know, and that's what's so funny about it. You telling me to F off has given me one of my best comedy skits I've ever done. So yeah, suck on that, darling.
PG, what did you think of that smug statement?
Well, this man used to be the fourth biggest person in the British television industry, but I can't see him being that in future. That kind of attitude, quite frankly. I think he's slit his own throat, really. And I think it's going to come out in 6 months to 2 years' time what actually happened. And when it comes out, I think it's going to be more ammunition to use against him, as Jack said, because it's ridiculous. The man is totally screwed up. And he's screwed up with a massive Disney contract as well. I wouldn't trust him watching a preschool. I would never trust him near a preschool, actually, the way he's behaving. But you know what I mean? Wouldn't trust him with a pantomime.
Oh, yes, you would.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
You've already seen it. It's called Doctor Who.
Yeah. We just had a pantomime. We just had massive Disney pantomime.
His career's behind him.
He's done it. Yeah. Definitely behind him now.
Exit stage.
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh, yes, it is.
Bloody well it is, mate.
Well, if Channel 4 keep giving them fucking money, I won't be.
But who's watching that?
Throw money at them.
Who's watching it?
Or they keep throwing money at him.
Not doing very well with tips, though, isn't he, really?
No, 1.7 million or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Robert, what did you think of his statement?
Well, it's just the arrogant, out-of-touch nonsense we're used to expecting from him, isn't it? I mean, it's a bit of a Ratner moment for him, and as if anybody remember what that was. It was the sort of, our customers will buy rubbish and ha, 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 you know. So he's just, he's spitting in the face of his fans and anybody who thought that he was any good. He's telling his bosses and future bosses that he doesn't care, and he's going to pretend that there's product going to come out and it's not going to be, but going to mislead people and say, ha ha, I've tricked you, oh, and I good, like, you know, and as if that's some sort of thing to be proud of. He's just an idiot, you know. Never make it, yeah. Oh, fabulous! So trick I've done, you know. Aren't I good? Aren't I a good trickster? Like, you know, no, you're annoying 60-something Burke, and you just go away, and nobody's going to want to employ you. Nobody's going to want to have somebody like that around. I mean, where's his sense of reality with social interaction, with playing with other kids? You know, as far as like you do when people socialize kids, they got to learn to play with others and share things and be in touch with each other. And it's like he's just unsocialized. He's gone feral, like, you know.
Oh.
He's a basic idiot. He's never
can't trust him.
idiot.
The industry can't trust him now. That's the thing.
Well, no, I mean, like I've said before, when the old Disney thing collapsed, Disney are going to talk to other people. They're going to, you know, it's like when you try to get a job, you're going to look at previous employers. You know, you're not going to trust. Invest your money in somebody who's. I think I got this marvelous script. Oh, it's great, fantastic. You're going to enjoy it, and it's all these fancy words.
Sorry, the word career suicide comes to mind. Really.
Well, just as long as it's just his career, I don't want anybody to doff
Yeah.
himself over it.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
just
a professional term, by the way.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying. But it is like I say, it's a Ratner movement. It's sort
Yep.
of like it's demeaning.
Anyone buy any old trash, won't they? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
he's effectively said, "I can trick everybody; they'll believe me. Aren't I clever, Dick?" And
Yeah.
ha 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 ha. And you're going to have to be
Gerald.
waiting for more stories or episodes, but you'll have to have a sit in your chair and wait. Wow, who says that sort of thing to customers? You know.
Yep.
What sort of idiot is he? Well, we know what sort of idiot he is, but
Yeah.
he's a one-trick pony, sort of obsessed with. He's taken, like I say, a decades-long science fiction franchise beloved around the world, and made it into a platform for his obsessions of sexuality.
But what annoys me is, my friend, is the BBC let him do this.
Yeah, well, they're idiots too. I'm sorry.
That's why Tim Davies finally gone. Thank God.
They're coercing everybody in Britain to pay them 180 quid this year so that they can not be arrested for watching their television programs, which people don't watch the BBC.
Yeah.
Even people who
I've got to
Which is more than a Netflix subscription.
because BBC gave him the keys, Disney gave him the money, but I can tell you now, right, and Lee will probably agree with me on this stuff. The brief from BBC and Disney was clear that they wanted Doctor Who back. That's what they wanted.
Not Dr. LGBTQ.
They wanted Doctor Who. And they thought because what he did in 2005 qualified him enough to be able to do that. But RTD never had any intention to come back and to actually, improve on his legacy or add to his legacy. He came in because he was bitter with the world, he's angry, and he had some things to say. And with the money that he had, and with BBC basically letting him do whatever he wanted, he decided to use Doctor Who in that way to push his own agendas, to push his own ideology, and then to bash fans over their heads with it. And remember, he brought in some of those fans who were critical of fans like us and put them in the show. Right? That's how vindictive it was. But you know what the ironic thing about it was as well? Is not only did he have those fans in it, at the same time while he was using those fans to bash us, he was slagging those fans off as well.
Exploiting the money.
So, look, the statement just to me proved yesterday, when I saw that statement, it proved to me, like I've suspected for a long time, but just wouldn't admit to myself, this man never had the best intentions for Doctor Who.
No.
And maybe he didn't in 2005, or maybe he did a little bit, and he tried to push it as much as he could to see what he could get away with. But this time the shackles were off, and the thing is that even this was shocking for BBC, this was even shocking for Disney, who are two of the most wokest as we know. But if it was even too woke for them guys, and they pulled the fucking plug, right? You can't just throw it all on BBC or throw it all on Disney. I don't even blame Disney. Disney offered 100 million, right? They put the cash up front for Doctor Who. That's how much they believed in it. But as Lee said, the only reason why Disney gave the 100 million is because BBC don't believe in it. So they went off someone else who tried to make it work for them. And that's the problem that we have. Until BBC believe in what they fucking have, right? Golden goose. Until they believe what they actually have, they will never succeed with this show. This show, I said it yesterday, this show could literally, if it's done properly, right? And they want to chase, look, they're always chasing a global audience, but as I say, if you write something correctly, if you do what people recognize that brand to be, and you do that properly, right? You don't have to go chasing audiences. You don't have to go chasing trends.
Exactly.
They come to you. They come to you. And that's
exactly no.
Right? And since you have started chasing trends and chasing the audience, look what's happened. The audience has dwindled. the audience has actually fucking dwindled. So you do have a cash cow here. It's just you have mismanaged it over the years and you've given it to the wrong people. Now it's time to take stock of all the mistakes that you've made. Wait a few years, right? But learn from those mistakes. If you don't learn from those mistakes in the first sign of use gender swapping or doing some fucking nonsense, you're wasting fans' time. We are not going to tolerate any more of this stuff. If you do not create Doctor Who and make it the way it's supposed to be made, do not waste fans' time, right? We're not going to tolerate, and I'll say it, we are not going to tolerate the same destruction that happened to the New Who era to happen again. It cannot happen again, right? And if you have the people in place and you have the right people that believe in it, right, this show will fucking hit stratospheres that we've never hit before, and it will. And in a way, I'll be a bit jealous because I want it to be our little home little show. But if it does become this global fucking thing that they're chasing, and it's successful, but it has great character development, great stories, as a Doctor Who fan, I will be proud of that.
Yeah.
But you have to make the right decisions. The whole fucking BBC needs to change within. There needs to be a whole structural change. And until then, right, until then, you are wasting our time. I do not want to see any more of this so-called representation. I don't want any more lectures about how bad I am because I'm a white man or climate change or any of this other nonsense. I want to tune in every Saturday fucking night for 45 minutes to an hour, right, to escape all the shit that's going on in society and in the world, and for that hour to enjoy myself. Right? Yeah. That's it. It's not even a hard fucking brief. And you know what? This is one of the simplest fucking concepts for a show that has ultimate fucking stories to be told. The character, the central character, it was genius to regenerate that character. Whoever came up with regeneration, we all say it was fucking what's his face. We know that's not exactly entirely true. It was a conversation between a load of people. But that was a great concept to try and fucking refresh the show, to renew the show. So there is no excuse for Doctor Who. The others like Star Trek, Star Wars, yeah, they'll take a little bit more fixing, but Doctor Who's an easy fix.
Oh, yeah.
Doctor Who's an easy fix. And someone said, hold on, just one more thing. Someone said it in the chat that Doctor Who needs to be a bit more mature. I agree with that. Yeah. Next time it comes back, it has to take itself seriously. I'm sick of this show now not taking itself seriously. It was grand for a while that it didn't take itself seriously, but it has to start taking itself seriously. Science fiction doesn't, on the whole, take itself seriously anyway, and it should. Doctor Who deserves that respect after all of this fucking time, right? So the next era I would like to see is a more mature era, right? That doesn't mean that we exclude kids, right? Obviously, adults will have to watch it before the kids watch it just in case there's something there that they can't watch. Like when we grew up as kids and our families watched, our mothers and fathers watched films, TV shows that we watched together, but they tell us to turn our heads or whatever when there was a bad part, or they fast forward or whatever. That's when parents step up and do their fucking job anyway, right? Parental guidance. That's why PG is there. Parental guidance. It's up to you as the parent whether you allow your kid to watch that show or not. So there should be no issue with Doctor Who being more for an adult audience anyway. And I think that's where it needs to go in the future for it to have any sort of success. Now I'm finished with me fucking rant. Right,
my concern is that the BBC don't think of it as drama, and drama equals soap opera, and soap opera equals issues to activism and stuff. So until we get somebody in whoever's making it to recognize science fiction as a respectable genre, not a kids fantasy show, then we're not going to get anything, either drama, soap stuff, or some sort of silly, hey, isn't it bizarre how things are funny and funny looking aliens and funny looking places where we are. They've got to just mature, like I say, with the thing about it being more mature. Well, we were kids and we were watching things which were quite mature and we were able to cope with it. I mean, first episode of Blake 7, a lot of people get shot. Not as any spoilers. It's been a few years. Space 1999, the moon gets knocked out of orbit, and everybody's, are they going to die? And often they got some foam going to kill them. But there's threat involved in science fiction. There's deep ideas and provoking concepts. It's not all, does the companion of the Doctor? No, he doesn't. And the Doctor doesn't care less about the Earthlings. He's spending time with showing the things, having some company and showing the universe with somebody else. They're not love interests, as the Missy character always say. That's ridiculous. It's like the pet. They're not really on the same level as the Time Lords who've been around for thousands of years. Why do the writers think that a Doctor who's got all the memories from all his previous incarnations would have any interest in an Earthling at all in some sexual way? It's retarded.
Not only that, but a 1,000-year-old.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, by Capaldi's era, he was 2,000 years old. He'd spent billions of years theoretically in the confession dial. So why would somebody with that experience of existence and seen all the different species around the world, around the universe, be so head up about some teenage girl or teenage boy?
Half human side of.
No, whatever.
Yeah, it turned into a trendy melodrama, didn't they?
It's
sorry, Lee. Jack is trying to get back into the studio here. Yeah. But it's saying his device is not connected, so he needs to connect the mic or something.
I think he may have given up on that.
Right, well, I'll kick from the studio, but if he wants to try add himself again, tell him to do that, and I'll react. But
right, I'll see if I can try and help. So I'll be back. Go and ask Steve about the
go on, Steve.
Thing, and I'll be back to give my opinion.
Okay, well,
I don't know what's happened there.
Let Steve have a word.
Okay, so what I'll say is what Robert picked up on. When I was a younger kid, I was watching stuff now that kids are not able to watch. I'll give you a good example. I can remember watching Spearhead from Space, where everyone got gunned down at a bus stop.
Yeah.
And I was a young age. It didn't bother me. It was just a television program. It wasn't real. You've got other examples like the Seeds of Doom with the trash compactor and the monster taking people over. All this stuff, the stuff that we took as drama for a family audience. I can remember my mum and dad, when we used to go to my aunt and uncle's at a weekend, they would all go upstairs. The dads would all go upstairs and have a drink upstairs. All the mums would go in the kitchen and make all the sandwiches. They'd leave all the kids in the living room. And we'd just sit and watch all this stuff, and we'd see all these horrors on screen.
Yeah.
And no one worried. It was just television. It wasn't real. If something actually scared one of us, it was a case of, oh, don't worry about it. It's not real. It's only a monster. It's only make believe. But you still enjoyed it. You still had the scare factor. My very first ever memory was the Missing Story Fury from the Deep, and I still kick myself because I missed the first 3 episodes, because I used to sit on the stairs and listen to the music. The music used to scare me. And I can remember hearing noises and things like that. And then eventually I made my way down to the door, looking through the crack in the door. And my dad said, "Come in, there's nothing to be scared of." And I came in and sat in between the two of them. And it was really scary for my age. But I didn't feel scared because I had my mum and dad there. And they were saying, "It's not real. You don't have to worry. They come out the screen and get you or anything." And this is what we've lost now. Now we're not allowed to scare children anymore. It's just not allowed. Yet we made our own minds up at that age. We were watching all sorts of things on television. I mean, I can remember watching something, not Doctor Who, very Doctor Who-like, called The Changes in 1970-something. That scared the hell out of me. And it was all about these adults suddenly turning on machinery and smashing it all up, and how our society broke down. That gave me nightmares, but it never ruined my entire life afterwards. It was a good drama. So I think we've gone too far the other way. Doctor Who needs to go back to scaring people. It needs good storytelling. The Doctor definitely needs to go back to being the Doctor. My first ever meeting the Doctor was Patrick Troughton, and I can remember watching Through from the Deep episode 4, and I've said this before, but basically there's this scene where the weed creature thing comes up in the pipe at the end. I always remember this. And everyone in this control room is back against the wall. But this funny little man, he steps forward towards it. And my dad said to me, that's because he's the Doctor.
Aye.
He's in charge. And I said, what, him? That funny little man? Yeah, he's the Doctor. And I had that respect for that character. That character was like walking towards the monster, saying like, this is the danger. And he wasn't scared of it. So the Doctor reminded me of my dad at that time, like a father figure. This is what we've lost. It certainly wasn't some prancing, sexualized ninny that we've got now. Right up to Capaldi, at least he was the Doctor, even if his stories weren't that good sometimes. It was still Doctor Who.
I always defend, Stephen, I always defend the Capaldi era because I think if you look at it now, and it's aged very well, his era, by the way, out of all of the eras, his era has aged very well, believe it or not. But I think, with the Force Peter Capaldi series in particular, that was the closest that we actually got to the Doctor in the modern new era. Because, I wanted, it was dark in places. I actually thought, that episode with Clara where they're sitting, do you remember where they're sitting in the restaurant with all the ticking?
Oh, yeah.
That's what kid I say was scary, but even to me as an adult, I found that creepy, right?
Yeah.
So I always defend Capaldi's era because, I know some of the stories were bad, but I think Moffat really got the closest that we've ever gotten to what a classic, the modern Doctor, like a classic Doctor, and that was Peter Capaldi. That's why I love him so much, and I defend him so much, because that is the closest we ever got to a classic Doctor in the New Who era. I love Matt Smith. I think he's up there as well, but Peter Capaldi, that in particular, I think he got it almost spot on. Season 9, I think he got the balance better, but that era of Doctor Who, that Moffat season, self-contained 8, 9, and 10, in my opinion, is the closest that we got to classic Doctor Who. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, when Capaldi was on form and you had an excellent story to go with him, it was 10 out of 10 Doctor Who.
It was. They worked well together, right? Peter was so good that even the average scripts he elevated, and I think that's why he is actually revered by a lot of fans. They love him, is because of that. He really did put his heart and soul into that role. Like, you could tell how much he loved playing the Doctor, and it hurts him. He doesn't really like talking about Doctor Who that much because it hurts him, because I don't care what anybody says. I know people still don't believe me, but he was pushed out to be replaced by Jodie Whittaker. Like, that happened.
No, I heard the broadcast and I was on the radio and I could hear him crying.
Oh.
Yeah,
so sad.
On the radio with Joe Wiley, I think it was, and you could hear him crying.
Yeah, so
and Capaldi,
nobody could tell me to this day that man on the radio was okay with leaving Doctor Who. He was not okay with leaving Doctor Who. 2 weeks beforehand, he literally put out a statement when Chibnall was announced. I can't wait to work with him because we worked on Torchwood together. And then 2 weeks later, he's on the radio, as you said, crying, talking about leaving the show. He was pushed, guys, and we shouldn't forgive that either, right? He's hurt so much that he can't even bring himself to talk about Doctor Who. He's only recently started talking now, but for years he couldn't talk about Doctor Who. He'd kind of just glance over it if he could, because the journalists were still asking him about Doctor Who even after all of this time. They're always going to ask him about Doctor Who, but That's how hurt he was, and I'll never forgive Chips for that either. So
Yeah.
you know,
He was mortally wounded. He really was.
It's a shame because the Capaldi had some depth of character and gravitas. You believe that he was thinking and he was feeling, and he had experience, and whatever he's going to come up with is going to be really effective, and there's not going to be any incompetent level to it at all. He'd be saying, right now, you see the cogs working in his head when he looks at things, and he's like, well, yeah, and you can believe him, you can trust him as a doctor.
Believe him as the doctor.
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
Where are you going?
right. He's gone. He's buggered
Where's he
off.
going?
Right, am I going to be asked now? Is it my turn?
No,
yes,
Tony.
go ahead.
Sorry, no.
You typing. You typing there, Noel.
Sorry, I'm breaking my own rules. Sorry,
You thumper.
right, but I am the boss, so
I don't give a shit. Yeah. Well, that was the rantings of a psychopath or sociopath at the very least, a narcissist, if anything else. The absolute condescension, the absolute hatred and contempt for his own audience. It's amazing, isn't it? But this is the thing. You chase all these people like the trans activists and all that, and then what? A day or something before you release your terrible tiptoe, whatever the hell it is.
Shit show. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Shit
Off a
show.
cliff.
You pissed them off.
Yeah.
And now they hate, and now they've been calling out your entire era this whole time for being bad with trans representation. So you've courted all these people. You've ruined the show. You've changed it to fit around entirely that audience, and then they turn on you like that. And for what? Was it worth it? You threw everyone who'd been following the show under the bus. Everyone now has lost. No one wins from any of this. No one. And this is the absolute exposure of what a true sociopath he really truly is. The fact that this man still gets work today is baffling to me. The man is a bully. He has absolutely no business being where he is. Oh look, there's a two of me there. And then he has the conceit to treat it like a joke, and he's admitted to lying. I mean, we all know he lies anyway, but this was on a scale untold. And you know, like I say, when he says, however, I know he's a liar, but when he says he hasn't written the script, I believe that. I don't believe that is a lie. I believe he's leaning into that to make you think twice. But I'm telling you, this guy knew he was out 2 years ago. And to think, if he had just gone with the first choice, instead of Gatwa, I mean, and didn't write like an insane maniac.
Tell people. I want to tell people who the choice was, but we.
I know you want to tell people. I know you want to tell people that it was James McAvoy, but we can't do that.
No, don't mention it was James McAvoy. Don't tell.
There you go.
I'm not saying it was.
Don't tell him
if he did say
allegedly.
Let's just say that was not the first choice, and it was actually James McAvoy.
Allegedly.
So that was.
So I'm not allowed to do it.
Allegedly.
I've been dying to fucking say that for months now. He just casually drops it right now. So
I don't know what you're talking about, Noel. I've never talked. We've never
so much for loyalty and promises.
What if Disney were pissed off then?
It's over anyway, so don't worry about it.
Well, that's it, isn't it? You know.
Anyway, that's who Gatwa replaced, and that's who.
Allegedly. I don't know what you're talking about. But
Some
I
say
that. I didn't say that. I said if it was him. I didn't say anything. No, you leapt to that conclusion.
Let me write that down a minute.
But I forgot all about it.
Anyway, but look, as I said, you know,
it's my time. Wait, you're cutting into my talk.
Yeah.
Quiet for a minute. It's not the first time that RTD has done something like this, by the way, with casting. He did the same in 2005. He had an original actor picked before he actually landed on Eccleston. It does happen, but it's just the way this happened is a different scenario to
I think
the way it
was his
happened.
first choice.
Yes, it was. But he was doing whatchamacallit, he was doing Casanova instead. He couldn't do it.
Casanova, yeah. Casanova.
But I will say though, you know,
Wait.
Go on, Nick.
Yeah, this if this doesn't tell you who he is, 100, and all the people who've been standing for this guy over the years, we've been the canary in the coal mine. This time. We told you this guy was an arsehole. We told you this guy was the bloody pinnacle of narcissism.
I saw it when I saw Walking Davros, mate. I thought this is
miracle worker. Yeah. The man tells you himself, I'm a genius. He tells you he's a genius. He even told you he thinks he's the master race, for Christ's sake.
Oh, dear.
I mean,
no one says no to me.
And he thinks to run the show is his divine right.
His divine right. He actually said that.
Can I just say something quickly? Russell, you've seen what happened to Alex Kurtzman. Why did you do it?
He loves Alex Kurtzman.
He's in love with him. He's infatuated with Alex.
Yeah, but you see, the thing about it is, as Lee pointed out earlier on, the reason why all of these people do what they do is because there is no consequence when they destroy a franchise or destroy an IP. That's why they do it, and that's why they're so arrogant, because they know there'll be no consequence. See, people are saying RTD's career is surely finished after this summer, saying no, it won't. It'll continue. He's got other projects with Channel 4 coming up as well. Like Tiptoe was just the beginning. He's not going to lose any sleep over Doctor Who, and he's certainly not going to lose any work because of what he
that
did.
fucker's going to sleep like a baby. But this is the thing. I don't think we should allow him to get away with that, frankly. I think he should be held to account, and I think he should be forced to pay back some of that bloody money. It's not to Disney, who's going to write it off against tax anyway, but they should pursue it out of principle. He misled them. He misled everybody. He misled the audience. He misled Gatwa even. He misled
even the crew. The crew.
Yeah.
The crew who are now out of work. Thanks
exactly.
to him. You know, and the fact that Bad Wolf also, who I hold just as culpable, who have paid zero tax for years. They filed two tax returns in 20 years, or at least 10 years. I can't remember, but I looked at all their tax records. You can go on the HMRC and look it up yourself. They paid tax twice. Twice they paid tax, okay? That's Welsh people's money, the working class in Wales, who are supposedly the net benefactors of Bad Wolf's existence in their community, when they are leeching off not only the taxpayers through this funding from, not only do they receive funding from the government, the Welsh government, they get tax credit, they get tax write-offs. Name any other $1 million companies out there that get to pay no tax whatsoever. And just, you know, it's disgusting. In an economy today where people are struggling to put food on their table. And then what they do then is to have nerve to give money away to LGBTQ plus charities and things like that, because they want to give back to the local community, right? So you're taking money out of the working class and giving it to your middle class friends effectively as charity. And it's RTD's obsession. This is going back to the Tiptoe thing. I didn't watch it, but I heard there was a scene where the guy ends up being lynched or something. I'm like,
by men in England shirts. English shirts doing it.
Yeah,
he was grooming the next door neighbour's sons.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. That's not the first time Russell T Davies has written something like that. Write what you know, Russell. Anyway, so
likes grooming people, doesn't he?
Going on to that.
Allegedly.
He has the middle class disease, and let's be no bones about it. He is uber middle class, right? He does not come from a council estate. He's probably barely set foot on one. He might have seen a documentary
for filming,
for filming, I'll grant you that.
He was probably wearing a COVID mask and gloves when he was there.
His portrayal of the working class as well. Not only that, but he thinks with shows like Tiptoe and Doctor Who that it has to appeal to these progressive types, progressive lemmings.
Trend is, yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm afraid the working class of this country, of which makes up a significant proportion of it, don't have the luxury of the middle classes who can fixate on how oppressed they are because someone won't use the correct pronouns, or that they're afraid they're going to get lynched because they're gay. I mean,
Grooming.
you're the one who's
Yeah.
all about bringing in people who literally want to kill us, and you tell the working class that they are the ones responsible. You are out of your mind. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's like, if anyone has brought this about, when you take away the working classes' entertainment and lecture at them from an ivory tower how they should behave and how evil they all are, and then wonder why they get angry, wonder why they get maybe homophobic or transphobic or whatever, because you made them, that you created your own straw man. And the straw man is now
Causality paradox, yeah.
Exactly, is now coming down off his sticks and angry because you've created them. You created problems where there were none. You are so out of your mind. I think he went away to America. He came back a changed man. Whatever happened to him, I can understand you've had some trauma in your life. Who hasn't? But the point is that you've turned that into an angry, spiteful agenda against anyone who disagrees with you. Even people who are gay or trans or whatever who disagree with you. People who are disabled who disagree with you. And isn't it funny how you change on a dime about, how Davros is bad because this, that, and the other, because people 5 minutes ago told you it wasn't trendy anymore. And then even though you've done people in wheelchairs or villains in wheelchairs who were evil, and that was fine then. And then all of a sudden the whole world has to change because someone feels a bit upset about it.
I'm sorry, but none of us said Davros looked like a person in a wheelchair.
No,
so that says more about you.
That's projection. That's projection.
You look like Davros in a travel machine. It's a survival thing. That's
So
what you look like.
you retcon that, and then by doing that, you've already removed why the Dalek's aesthetic is the way it is, because it was based on his chariot. I mean, hello.
Yeah.
The Dalek plunger was only a thing because the 14th Doctor handed it to him and said that's better.
No, it doesn't.
That's terrible. It's just like I say, they're making fun of it themselves, aren't they? When the people making the show are making fun of Doctor Who themselves, we know they're not taking it seriously.
And Jane Tranter had the nerve. Was it Jane Tranter or was it the other one?
No, it was Stephen Moffat first. He said that the Graham Williams era, except City of Death, was awful. I'm like, coming from you.
But wasn't it Jane Tranter who said 80s Who was a pastiche?
A pastiche, yeah.
And it's like, have you seen your show?
Have they seen Kill the Moon? Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry.
Forest of the Night, anyone?
I was really, more than anything that RTD's done, I think it was that final FU to the fans. I mean, if the Billy Piper thing wasn't a big troll in the first place, he's been trolling you now for 2 solid years. And when that truth comes out, I don't think this man should be allowed to work in again.
Yep.
Why would you trust someone who would be so cavalier with your billions of dollars or your millions of dollars from Disney, etc.? So do you think if he goes to another production company to spend your money, that you're going to get something back for that? I don't think so. Because you can't trust someone who openly, winningly lies like that and mocks the audience. That's paid his wages for all these years, may I add. It's disgusting. The man is disgusting.
Needs to
rightfully angry.
Needs to remember that nobody's obliged to watch, are they?
I think it should be performance related. If you screw up, you should give the money back. There you go.
I agree.
Well, here, just to let you know, I'm just at the seeing this on X. So apparently he's done a podcast, and he has spoke about saying the show isn't cancelled. It's been put out to tender. Casualty was also in the same position. So he's defending the fact that he ran the show into the ground. And
Yeah, but hold on. Casualty is not the same as Doctor Who.
Exactly.
Casualty wasn't sent around the world. It wasn't a huge international success. It also didn't have millions and millions of dollars spent on it. It also didn't end up being so utterly destroyed through incompetence and mismanagement all the way through for nigh on a decade nearly.
We didn't have people dressed up as Charlie from Casualty and have figurines of the nurses from Casualty.
It's not a multi-million-dollar industry. No. So, with all due regard, fuckwit, it's not the same thing. And who the hell, right? I mean, if they were putting out to tender, well, it's been out for tender since Disney cancelled their contract 2 years ago. So why have you not found one since?
That's what people need to realise here, by the way. And I know Lee keeps harping on about it, but that's the fact of the matter. Chibs has gone 2 years and the show has been put out to tender for 2 years and nobody has bitten in 2 years. And as I always have said here on this channel, right, why would any other production company come in anyway? Think about it logically for a second. When the biggest one of all, Disney, right, splashed 100 million and got a failure. Why would anybody else say, oh, we can do it better than Disney? That would be arrogance, first of all. It'd be short-sightedness, right? And third of all, you'd want to be a fucking idiot, but excuse the language, but you'd want to be a fucking idiot to pick up that IP now in the damaged state that it's in, right?
That's my worry. That's my worry. It's people in the future, when the name Doctor Who is mentioned, they're not going to think of Inferno. They're not going to think of Genesis of the Daleks. They're not even going to think of Impossible Planet and Satan Pit. They're going to think of what RTD did with it. It's like that's going to be.
They're going to think of a garish, multicolored camp show with Ncuti Gatwa high leg kick going Yas Queen, or Billy Piper coming going, oh hello, instead of maybe there's things with time.
Do you know what? If she had any balls, right, when she was doing that regeneration scene, right, she should have said "fuck you, Russell," and just walked off.
Yeah.
I'd love to have seen that.
But I've lost all respect for her as well. Look at
she
was deceived, and I reckon she was lied to originally. But when she was told, she obviously still did the same. So, you know, my estimation of her has gone down a lot. Actually,
I see it like this. I'm just saying, like, darling, can you come in now? Just stand in front of that green screen and go, oh, hello. Throw a bit of wind.
That's where the Bad Wolf Billy lie comes from. He probably lied to her about the whole scene.
Well, he's a known liar. So
yeah, he's a compulsive liar.
And maybe now she'd be like, I'll think twice before, and maybe that's why she was like, no, thanks.
Because do I have to ask anybody else about RTD's statement? Because I do want to ask one last question before we wrap this up.
Yeah, Steve, did you get to talk about it?
I can't believe that what you've just said, you said on X. I mean, he's salted the earth of that program and he's trying to turn it into a silver lining. He destroyed it.
I know. It's so distasteful.
Him and Chibnall, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And even Moffat said, I didn't know any of this. I'm like,
no, Moffat didn't know. And I believe Moffat. I have to be honest.
Yeah. I believe him more than I do, even though he's been proven to lie as well, let's be honest.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
He's not malicious.
Having this conversation with someone, and we were talking about that, the lies that RT and the fact that he was able to deceive for 2 years. And we were discussing with our showrunners, and Moffat was brought up, and we said the same thing. I said the same thing to this person that I'm going to say to you now. I do not believe that Moffat would have went that far or lied that like that. No matter what we think of him, no matter what we think of him with his writing and all, and throwing his toys out of the pram sometimes, I don't think he's that vindictive though. I don't think he is. Compared to fucking Chibs and compared to RTD, especially this version of RTD, right? I don't think that I come close to him. To be able to lie like that for the 2 years that he has lied just goes to show how much of a psychopath that man actually is. I'm not messing. That is scary, right?
Yeah,
he dragged everybody along, and PD has rightly brought it up, by the way. We must not forget that there was Bad Wolf staff and BBC staff on standby waiting for a season 3 that never fucking happened. And maybe poor Shooty Gatwa was out of the loop when he did that Graham Norton fucking interview. And that's why he said what he said, and then it got pulled because...
But it goes to show you...
Probably, and then, oh no, it's not coming back.
It goes to show you, even then, they knew it was not coming back.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not a recent thing. This thing that happened the other day is not, it happened then. They sat around the table the day before and said, let's all agree that there is not going to be another season at the moment. That didn't happen. This has been on the card way back. 2 years, that's when it started. When Shooty Gatwa's statement about a third season was redacted from that show, they knew then, and that wasn't even new to them then. Whether or not he was in maybe he did it as a FU to RTD. Oh, there'll be a third season. That's going to cause problems. Maybe that's what happened. But whatever the situation was, he was either out of the loop or he was lying and he was causing trouble or whatever. But whatever happened, it will all come out eventually. But this whole process, Disney were out the minute they saw Church on Ruby Road. They were like, what the hell is this?
We're out.
Their reaction was utter shock.
Exactly, Kat.
Yeah.
Even the cat is actually, even the cat agrees with us. See that? Even the cat agrees with us here.
The cat agrees. There you go.
But look, it's an absolute disgrace, and Lee is right. I'm going to say something I said it the other day. This is not the time for us fans now to stay silent. This is the time for us now as fans to band together and to hold this man responsible for what he has done. This is not, and again, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, right? But the other side, obviously, are looking at fingers to point. They're blaming some of us. They're blaming Disney. They're blaming the BBC, blah, 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 right? Bottom line is, none of us are to blame. Disney's not even to blame for this.
No.
They fronted up 100 million for Doctor Who. That's what they paid for. They did not get Doctor Who. That's why they cut the deal short. Because if it had been successful, trust me, we'd be sitting here now anticipating the third season of fucking Doctor Who. There'd be no question, and Disney be throwing more money at it, right? But it wasn't successful. And all those people, by the way, during the whole run of RTD2 that were telling you that the ratings were okay and everything was fine, they also lied to you. They were the gatekeepers, right, that also wouldn't call out. And this is why I don't like these fans and never will, and I don't class them as fans, because no fan can sit there and watch that shit and say it was Doctor Who. You're no true fan as far as I'm concerned, because that was everything that was everything the opposite of Doctor Who and what Doctor Who stands for and what that message the show was trying to convey back in the classic era, right? It entertained people as well, and when it did have something to say, it did it correctly. It showed all sides of the argument and let the audience decide themselves. They didn't treat the audience like a bunch of dumb fucking school children, right? They knew the audience was intelligent, and they hoped that the audience was intelligent to see what they were trying to do. And it fucking worked. It worked for a long, long time, right?
Well,
And
like I say, Noel, Classic Who was written for intelligent kids, intelligent 12-year-old boys or something. That's the level it was, slightly above the younger audience's head, but enough for them to be interested in what things meant and to be engaged. You always write slightly above the head of your audience to make them chase it, work for it. Now
Exactly.
it's so passive, and it's written for dumb 20-year-olds, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. And not only that, now they want to do CBeebies Doctor Who, and that's like, what are you doing? You're going to create a generation of kids watching Doctor Who as a kid show who are going to grow up, and then you're going to bring Doctor Who back, and it's going to be this adult show or whatever. Or,
The stigma.
they're going to like, why do I want to? It's a kid show. You've confused the brand.
Stigma.
And I think as well,
yeah.
the future of Doctor Who, if there even is one, the fight starts now. And I said this a long time ago. the future for the fight for the soul of the show starts the minute it gets cancelled, because as I said, all the people who have been propping this era up, who have led to the decline of this show, who have actively supported the decline of this show, even though we were telling them year after year after year, you keep doing this, the show will be cancelled. And they're like, no, it's getting better, it's getting stronger, you'll all be replaced, and we'll be the new, this inclusive audience that they're talking about, right? The most elite group of middle class
the trend is
jobs on the planet, right? So where were they? They should have been criticizing this ages ago. It's only the minute that RTD said something about having gender critical friends the day before Tiptoe arrives, boom, all of a sudden they're always against Russell T Davies. They always hated him. They always didn't like him. And we should all apologize to Chris Chibnall. Like, shut the fuck up.
I've never apologized.
I wouldn't apologize.
No. How about no? I'll tell you what, you lot are just as responsible as RTD. Because
Exactly.
you're the ones who blew smoke up his ass to keep it going. And we kept telling you, don't do this. You will ruin the show. No, they kept going. They kept doing it because they can never admit that they're wrong. And we've been proven right time and time and time again. And these fucking idiots wouldn't have any of it. And they attacked and they attacked and attacked. They piled on us. They formed groups like Nut My Doctor with that lunatic cult member, Tom Vance, the leader. And then all of that for what? You're the king of shit now. Well done. You've got exactly what you wanted.
Hail,
King of the dung heap.
Hail King Aldrad. King
of nothing.
On that nice little segue, though, I suppose I should ask the question: Doctor Who, The Wilderness Years 2, is it going to happen, or do you believe Doctor Who could come back next 5-6 years?
You have to be very wary now. This is what I'm telling you. Does the future repeat itself? Does it go to another bunch of RTD types? Does it go to another Fitzroy clique? Does it go to the people who've already wormed their way in close to the king, and then will sort of worm their way around and try and snap it up? Or will they cozy up to the next investor or whatever, the production team, and try and get in the work there and try and say all the right words? They worm their way in, and yes, my pronouns are and they all go, oh, lovely, 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 more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. So you're going to get another, like a Josh Schneer's Doctor Who.
You can just imagine his first interview was like, oh, the idea of conservatives watching Doctor Who. It's just like, you watch it die before it even airs.
Right. Or do you just go like BBC directly to you? Is that what you want? Do you want another toadying suck up who's just going to give you what you want to hear, is going to be on trend and like speak to the next generation to get them? It didn't work on those horrible working class people. It didn't work on Generation Z. Let's try Generation Alpha. We'll try and get into their little heads. Is that how we're going?
This, by the way.
Yeah, Jack was telling you, and I agree. Everything that me and Jack talk about, I tend to agree mostly with what he says, because
and then take all the credit.
No, I'm not taking the credit. You can talk for yourself. But we were talking about this, and it's true. And I think we need to be able to sit down and try and reason with the BBC. I know it's going to be insane, but we need to say to them, look, you want a successful show, you want it to be an international hit, and you want to bring money in and merchandise and all the rest of it. The reason you're not going to do that if you allow these people to take it over is because they will repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. The culture needs to change first. And the problem is when you don't have any strength or spine and conviction in what Doctor Who is, rather than what you think or want it to be, or think it should be more like this to reflect the modern audience we keep hearing about that never materializes. You've got to turn around and you've got to decide, do we want it to be a show that appeals to the universal audience, everybody, like it once was, or do we try and chase these trends for it? And the BBC is the place where trends go to die. Yeah. Right? So you have to make that decision. And I would say you need to strip it back. You need to make it a British show. We need to understand what British actually bloody means. And I'm not saying it can't be diverse. I'm not saying you can't have these things in it. I'm saying, but it has to be reflective of the country we live in. And, unfortunately, at the moment, I don't know if I want Doctor Who in that environment because, do you know what? Britain's not in that great shape at the moment. And to have that reflected back isn't going to be pretty. And I just rather it took time, things to settle down in this country before we bring something like that back. And I love the fact that we had a show that we used to turn to at times of crisis in our country. But now is not the time for that. It needs to go away until the culture adopts and changes and relaxes, because all this extremist language, it's only ever going to work its way back into the show again. And we can't afford that to happen again. So I would much rather it stayed away. I'd much rather, and I'd hope that the BBC were strict actually on fan content during this second period, because I don't want another situation where we get another Big Finish or another Fitzroy clan sort of taking over and controlling the fandom, and then become the elites of that fandom, and then eating and pushing everyone else out.
And for me,
I don't want that.
It sounds like the YouTubers who I used to watch, like that, like you say, Lee, they're very middle class and they're very just, it sounds like them. And I can highly picture them being the Fitzroy 2.0, after a 10-year break. And if that happens, you got Google employees, you got bloody LGBT obsessives, you got all this nonsense, they've been completely brainwashed. And
the middle class hate the working class in this country at the moment, and they want Doctor Who to be a reflection of the middle class, and they will tell you that they're not middle class. No, but they are, or they've adopted that mentality, the fixations about their own personal issues, their own tiny fucking neuroses, and that infests everything in Doctor Who. Their petty obsessions take it over, and we can't let that happen. A lot of people in working class don't have all these worries. They're too busy trying to keep themselves going. Yeah. And they just want some entertainment on the telly, and to have something that's, engaging them, not something that tells them how fucking terrible and awful life is or how bad they are. And it's this elitist mentality that has taken Doctor Who over the last 20 years. It's got to, or it's longer than that. It's got to stop. Doctor Who has always had an elitist problem in the fandom, always. But it's got
been a lot better.
It's got to stop, exactly.
Now it's got people who think they think better and know better than everybody else, don't they?
They decide who is a fan and who isn't now.
Yeah, and it's the middle class think that it's their job to look after they guide the working class into how they should think and be better people, because they can only be good people if they're
fractured, though.
It's not an attack on the middle class. I'm not attacking the middle class. I'm talking about
middle class as far as those who were in charge of the media.
The keeping up with the Joneses types, the ones that are like, I can't possibly be seen with that. No. And all believing and repeating and parroting whatever the next door neighbors are saying. It's that mentality.
Yeah, people who don't want to be shown to have their own opinion,
Yeah, gatekeepers. Well, about time they had a bit of gatekeeping held up at them. If you're going to behave like a twat and tell people that they can't be fans because they hold a different opinion to you, then you are the one who needs to leave.
Yep.
Right, lads, we got just under 10 minutes. So if you have anything to say in relation to the Lee, obviously, there is absolutely correct, by the way. This is the time for us to be more vocal now, because we cannot allow the show to be taken over by degenerates again. But if any of you guys on the panel want to actually expand on that, or let me know if you think we're going into another wilderness years, let me know. Some people have asked, do they think Doctor Who magazine will survive? Well, it did the last time, and I do believe it will, because there'll be plenty of classic Who. That's what keeps the Doctor Who magazine.
Are we gonna have infinite bloody comics for the 16 years of Billy Piper as the Doctor? Because that's what you're gonna get now.
No.
I'm telling you, you are now going to see the elites again pushing this narrative that she is definitely now the Doctor, thanks to Russell T Davies. And I think he did that on purpose. I really do. I really do.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a wilderness year as it were, because we didn't know how long it would last with
They said
Doctor
5
Who
years
in
then, and they're
'99.
saying that now.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. That's my point. And so we don't know what's going to happen. It could be a new tender this year or next year or the year after or whenever, or 10, 15, 20 years, and we'll be dead before it comes back. But as has been said, I think they're going to be, some people will say you're a BBC person who's going to, what's the word, choose what programs to be on. And
Controller, yeah.
Like controller or somebody who hires new productions, and they'll look it around and, well, who's made these best AI, most popular AI Doctor Who while it's been off air? Oh, we'll use them then. They'll be the ones to write it. So there is going to be a competitive battle, like any void left by politics after a coup, after some empire has fallen. There's going to be a fight for who's going to be replacing the next political powers.
Yeah.
But
can I be real? I really do think this is going to be my jumping off point, because I think in terms of fandom and in trying to this race to be the ones who bring it back, I really do think things are going to get much worse in terms of that. And you know what? I just don't think I can put myself through it anymore.
Yeah.
I just think, because everyone's got their own unique idea of what they think Doctor Who should be. And, it's like I said before, you've got multiple different types of fans, many different factions, and ultimately it doesn't matter who takes over, it's always going to upset someone else, so it's not going to be what they envision it to be. I just think the brand has become far too toxic now.
And the difference this time around is that, unlike in the 90s, we didn't all have publishing abilities. We couldn't just pop out a book or a magazine easily. Whereas now there's all these different publishing methods that it's like a Wild West again. It's worse than that. Anybody can spit out a version of Doctor Who and think, oh yeah, I can do Doctor Who. I can do Doctor Who. We never, we'd have fanzines or whatever it was back in the 90s, which I wasn't really involved in, but we had target books there for people to watch, to read, but it wasn't like written by everybody, and there wasn't like 50 different versions of Doctor Who fan books, so because it's a different media age now, it's going to be much more messy as far as identifying which is the authentic fan book, which people are going to be basing their future ideas on. At the moment we can go back to the 90s target novels or whenever they were, and say, all right, that was like the intermediary, it was off television, but we had a version of it in writing. But now it's just exploded. The whole idea of publishing.
We need to let go of the idea that what classic Who was, and even what new Who was with me growing up, of the idea of getting that again. I'm sorry, I think with AI, I think with technology constantly just getting ridiculous, I think with
we don't even know if, sorry Jack,
sorry
just the last line, we don't know if television will exist in 5 years time.
Very true.
Exactly.
We don't know.
And it's very depressing, because I've spent my whole life I've spent my whole life wanting to reach where the people are now, and now the landscape is looking to change so much that was all a complete waste of time. So it's just like
story of my life, buddy.
Yeah, and it just sucks. But I really do think, for me, it's time to just put it to bed, because there's more things to do in life, and I'm not prepared to start a whole nother battle over wanting to make Doctor Who how I think it should be made, because then I suppose that would make me an RTD in many ways.
No, if that's what you think's best for you, Jack, then you do it, because it's best for your own well-being.
Yeah.
But I think Doctor Who will always live on, in a sense. I will always love it. It will always be a part of me, But I just think going forward, it's probably going to get worse. I wouldn't
hope not
on it getting better. I know some people are going to not like me saying that, but I don't know, man. I think
No,
the
but
world's
you see, here's the thing: we have to have these difficult conversations, Jack, because you're right. It can go either way, you know. And from your perspective, you think it's going to get worse, and you probably are right now, 99.9% right. This is why Lee is right. We cannot stay silent. We have to be vocal. We've got to hold these people accountable, and even, you know, give out to the BBC for what they've allowed to happen, and to reprimand them, to basically let them know where they went. And that's what I said a few weeks back. You need to let BBC know where they went wrong. You know, eventually, look at people say fans don't have power. I don't agree with that. We have proven, especially during the Jodie Whittaker era, and we did. Our backlash was so fierce that BBC had to put out statements, if you all remember. I think people have forgotten that we actually got the BBC, forced the BBC to make statements, okay, with the way they handled the cancer scene in Jodie Whittaker's was it 4 season, that fucking absolutely cold scene that he got to. And another thing as well I noticed about the last 2 doctors as well, right? These 2 doctors didn't give a shit who died for that, and didn't give a shit who died. They had no compassion whatsoever. They had no compassion. I mean, it's absolutely diabolical what's happened. So I can understand Jack's point of view, where he says he thinks it's going to get worse. But I think at the same time, this is the chance now for us to actually be really vocal now and to let them know why they failed. Do not let the other side try to control the narrative like they've tried to control it all the way through the last 10, maybe 15 years. Now it's our time to speak up. This is the critical time to be speaking up. Look, the last couple of days have been hard for me. I was able to do my stream, but it was after my stream, and as I said, I clipped that thing and put it up on YouTube. It really did hit home that Doctor Who's gone. And for me, while there are people out there celebrating and relieved and all of that, and I get it, I feel a bit of that. I feel a bit of that relief.
Yeah.
I am heartbroken these last couple of days because, like a lot of this panel that are a little bit older than Jack, right? This show has been a big part of my life from childhood. And to see where it now lies in 2026 is absolutely heartbreaking. For all those people out there that criticised me and said I hated Doctor Who, you don't understand why I started this journey on this channel in the first place. I started it because I loved the show deeply. I wanted to protect it, and I wanted what's best for it. Yeah, I didn't always have the solutions. We all don't. That's the thing. But I do believe that there are certain things that the new show has neglected, that the classic show on, that if they kept the heart of it, it would have succeeded. This is what annoys me. These last 10 years should not have happened. It was unnecessary, and it has destroyed the legacy. And I hate to say that there are fans out there that will never watch this show ever again, and it's heartbreaking. This show, I say it all the time, when this show was brought back, I was at the lowest point of my life. And when I found out that knew who was coming, this is what kills me. He actually saved my life. He actually changed my life, like Jack. Saved it and changed my life. And for him to be the way he is today in 2026, and the way he spoke to Jack, right, should have cut us all open.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't saying fuck you to Jack. He was saying fuck you to us all. And that's the hardest thing that I can't take, is because he never needed to be like this. I don't know what happened to him. Lee said it earlier on. I don't know what turned him into the bitter man that he became. And I'm sorry for anything that happened to him that made him that bitter man. But it did not give you the right. It did not give you the right to come in and destroy the legacy of something you built in New Who, something you built. And
He
you
built on the backs of other people, I want to say.
I know, but you're right on that as well. And you've tainted it all.
Better people.
But, you know, a lot of people.
That's what's unforgivable, is unfortunately you have tainted it all for some people out there. Some people can't even watch Classic Q because of you and Chibnall. And that's what kills me. That's what kills me. But you know what? Little bit of hope I had is when those missing Hartnell episodes and the joy on the
Absolutely
showed me that this show still has life, and this show I do believe can come back again, but it's going to be harder this time. But if the right people are involved and there's a culture change at BBC and there's been a few years break, then we might have a chance. But I will say this: do I believe Doctor Who will come back in my lifetime? I don't think so. And that's what I always feared. And I said to you, if it was cancelled, that was my biggest fear. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think there will be a Wilderness Years 2, and it'll be on those people and all those fans that were cheering these lads on, right, and sold their souls for their 30 pieces of silver. Well, I just want to ask you all now, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Because I tell you something. I tell you something. If you think that was worth it, then you definitely have no moral compass. You definitely don't have any love in your heart. Because I tell you something. There's no way, if I was offered what you were offered, to betray the fandom and to betray this show, I would never do it. You could offer me all the money in the world. I would not turn my back on this show. This show has meant the world to me, and it ends. And it's heartbreaking, and I'm not going to hide from it that I'm upset, but it's the right thing, because this cannot be dragged through. I couldn't even watch the war between the land and the sea. I was done. It finally happened after all these years. He finally made me say, well, fuck off. And I hate him for it, because to turn me back on something that I have as a grew up with, to make me resent everything that I loved. And it goes for all yous on the panel. Yous all feel the same. I wear my heart on my sleeve and I say it as it is. I don't care what people say. People slag me off for this whole little speech here. But the bottom line is that these people do not realise the damage that they have done. And I don't know if this show can survive that. I honestly don't, because that RTD statement just showed me out straight that as long as he has people within the BBC, these people will give zero fucks about what makes Doctor Who tick and won't give a fuck about any of us. And you know what? As I said, all we want to do is be able to turn on the TV and be entertained for 45 minutes to an hour. It's not even that hard, and they can't even do it. Or they won't do it out of spite, because they're more important than we are. And that's what ultimately shelved this show. The disregard and the disrespect they had for the show and had for the fans. And the fans walked away. And not only did the fans walk away, the general British audience walked away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And when they walk away, your show is dead in the water. Forget about the fact fans will always, some will hang on longer than others, right? But when you lose the casual audience, that's it. It's game over. Yeah. And this is why I say it's going to be harder to come back, because the damage that's done, what he has done, the statement he made, there's a lot of fans that are never going to come back to this show. So I don't know how it's even able to come back and survive a new era, but I hope I'm wrong. The one thing I will say is that what gives me a little bit of hope, I suppose, is the fact when those classic episodes were found, and the hype and the pure joy on fans' faces, you can't take that away. That's the one thing that RTD and Chris Chibnall have not been able to take away, the enthusiasm of fans and the pure joy on fans' faces when they found those classic stories. And that's what I wish now by the time that this show is off the air, I hope they find more and more of these stories and
So do
get
I.
the excitement back in the fact. Because you know what? That will
Well,
be
it's
the
going to be
thing
in Classic
that
Who
will
now.
probably kickstart this again if we ever get another chance of seeing this show again. It'll be Classic Who that will save the whole lot of this, as it
Just like with
always
Star
has.
Trek.
Anyway, I'm done before I say any more and get too more emotional, but I am broken-hearted, and my message to RTD is good fucking riddance. To BBC, my message is simple.
Fucking keep an eye.
Do not repeat the same mistakes of the past. Keep the show off air for a few years. Wait until people start missing it, and then maybe bring it back. But if you try to do the same thing that you did these last 2 seasons, don't even bother. Don't even bother wasting fans' time, and don't even bother wasting your own money. You'll be dead in the water before it even begins. Now, if anybody else wants to have the last word on the stream, go ahead, because that went over a little bit, 10 minutes. So I will,
I just
But
want
I
to say
agree
that,
with what Lee said a lot. All the stuff about the culture needs to change first. That is absolutely fundamental because the state we're in at the moment, and the ideology that we've got going, that all needs to go before that program comes back. So I think I'm being generous here and saying 5 to 10 years before it's like forgotten about as that wonderful show that you used to remember with the older episodes, especially if more classics are found.
That's if we're
and
lucky.
it comes back in a blaze of glory as proper Doctor Who about a time traveller fighting monsters in time and space.
Yeah, simple idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't leave it too long though, because what's happened to Avatar? They left it way too long, and then it just dried up.
Yeah, I'd say 5 years will be my hope.
Hopefully.
About that.
I think 10.
Yeah. I also
right. If everybody, let's do that. If everybody was to put a timeline on it, so some are saying. So who's saying 5 years?
I say
I'm
5
saying
years.
5 to 10.
Right.
7.
You're saying 7. Lee is saying 10.
At least.
Jack, what are you saying?
10 or 15.
Yeah.
At least 10.
It
needs to be 10 years, and I'll explain why. I think it needs, this stink is so bad.
Yeah.
It needs to be forgotten.
Fumigated.
It's turned into Chernobyl, yeah.
It needs, but the thing is, what you've got to remember is the lasting impression we've got is of Gatwa, Jodie Whittaker, and Billy Piper going, hello. It's not what you want as a lasting, as a thing that sticks in the memory, as the last thing you remember of it. You really don't want that, for that stink to go away.
Yeah,
at
it's
least
got
10 years. And that will give enough time for people to also miss the good things about Doctor Who, if there are any memories left of that.
So forget about
10 years, a lot of us will be dead. So, you know,
give them enough time to miss it, but also give them enough time to forget about the bad shit.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but I think that's where we differ now on the panel, because I think it's going to take more than 10 years to undo the damage.
It's going to go like Star Trek now.
I think it can honestly be more than 10 years. I think it can be 15, because I think if you do Doctor Who right, whether those people come back or not, if it comes back and it's right, and people go, wow, that looks genuinely good. Oh, wow, that's not what I remember it ending like. Oh, wow, this actually looks really good. Hey, guys, check this out. And then eventually the word will spread to the old fans who will go, wait, it's actually good. And then they'll start coming back in. But I think, you know, you have to give the culture long enough to change. And I don't think 10 years is enough. I know society is swinging quite quickly, but this is the BBC we're talking about.
Yeah, when trends go to die. I love that.
I said 7 as a bit of a joke, but really, when facing the fact that Doctor Who has been left radioactive with a bit of a half-life now, so we don't really know when it'll be safe to bring back on, and we can't really. We didn't know how long it would be off last time, so we can't really guess how long it's going to need to be off this time. So who knows? It's going to be time will tell, isn't it?
Hey, time will tell.
Well, go on, who was saying something there? Sorry.
I was just
time is relative.
I was just going to say that you know, a lot of people think that, like my generation growing up with New Who, we don't sort of have that same loss as classic Who. Yeah, people who grew up with the original. But honestly, I think 2005 to 2013 was a great time to be a fan, because you know, you got to grow up with both shows. So actually, you know what, I may only have half the time, but you know, Doctor Who was a big part of my life. My parents were worried by how much I was obsessed with it. So if anything, I think,
That's
you
not a
know,
bad thing.
that personal stab, you know, from the guy whose era was my personal favorite.
That's what I mean. For older fans, this is our second time going through this, so we can kind of understand what you younger fans are going through right now, because we went through the same process.
Yeah.
But we
the
went through it
80s.
missing it. We went through it missing it, and wanting to come back as soon as possible. Nowadays, we're like, we don't miss it because it's been awful for 10 years. And we don't want it to rush back.
I just want
them to take their time.
I just wanted to leave us on like a sort of thing to think about is, if the show had have been cancelled when it was supposed to be, that would have been 4 years ago already.
Yeah.
So we would only be about 5 or 6 years away from it potentially coming back as something entirely different and better.
Yeah, they knew better. They knew better. They wouldn't listen to us, but they kept going. And you know, like you say, if RTD hadn't come back and unfucked the show to fuck it again, we would have had that cancellation, because wasn't it? You know, Jodie Whittaker, Chibnall were out. Effectively, there was no production ongoing, and it would have ended there.
And I think by
it could
now,
have recovered from that easily.
I think by now we'd really be missing it a little bit.
It could have recovered from that easily, but with the 2 years of Gatwa that we had,
and the anniversary year,
and the anniversary, and it sank it without a trace.
Yeah, I agree that last Jodie as a final was far better than the reality war kitchen sink, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You got a massive super chat there, Noel.
Holy crap! Wow.
Thank you.
Whoa. The last time I got one of those was about when I first started. Holy shit! Cara, the token nerd, £50 super chat. Can't believe that. As promised, I trust you to keep the word.
Thanks.
Oh.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. It's
Cheryl will have a roast chicken tonight.
Fuck off, you. Seriously, man, I'm blown away by that. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate that. Look, it's been a journey. We've been on all on a journey together. We've had a lot of ups. We certainly had the downs, of course, but the community, we've had a lot of ups. So you know what? The one thing I'm grateful for, and I said it yesterday, was no matter how much the show became a shit show, the one thing is I'm proud of is that we've built the community here, and obviously, as I said yesterday, there are YouTube channels out there doing their thing because of this channel. So that's the good thing for me out of all of this, is that we were out of something negative. We were able to do something positive. All of us have worked very hard on this channel over the years. And as I said, you know, even the people that are not part of the channel anymore, the people that are no longer with us, everybody played their part in making this channel what it is. So I owe you a lot, and I want to thank you all for the support over these last years. I'm not going anywhere, by the way, just in case you think this is a speech me going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, but what I'm just going to say, because the journey is because now we're at the end of Doctor Who, I just want to say, like, you know, it's been a long journey. We've met some amazing people along the way. As I said, people with us. anymore also, and also those people who don't associate with the channel anymore. You know, they all played their part, they all guessed it, they all gave a contribution to the channel. So I am absolutely honored that you all came on, and thank you for sharing your experiences and your opinions with me over the years. Couldn't have done it without you anyway. And of course, you know, as I said, on this channel, we try to be, you know, when we do all the other stuff, we try to not put out any bullshit, and we try to tell you exactly what's going on
It's
out
like
there.
he's won an Oscar.
Right. So, yeah, well, look, yeah, but you know, it has been a long journey, and you know, I have been reminiscing the last few days. I'm remembering everybody that played that part, including those that don't like me anymore, because you know, but still, I remember them all because everybody played a part on this channel, and everybody, you know, trusted me trusted me with their evenings, I suppose, because we listened to quite a lot back in the day. So thank you for that. Really appreciate that. Now I'm going to shut up rambling and let PD is putting all the channels in the comment section right now as we speak. But we will go around the panel, and if there's anything you want to plug, lads, you are more than welcome to do so. So we will start off with Robert.
Hello. Well, nothing to plug. My channel's on a hiatus, coincidentally. And the all I'd say is, look, whatever happens with Doctor Who, we've got a lot of good episodes in the bank of the up to the Capaldi era and the classic era. So just enjoy what we got, and hopefully we live long enough to see Doctor Who come back as a proper sci-fi show. And
when they can
hopefully
find
we'll
someone who understands science and science fiction.
Yeah, that would help. I'm available for consultations at a reasonable price. So yeah, everybody look after yourselves, keep positive, keep happy. It's very sad for not having Doctor Who anymore for those who have been looking forward to new episodes, but that's the way life goes. Sometimes shows come and go, and you carry on and see
it's
what
had its
comes
time,
next.
and at least it didn't last longer than the original run, which is what I think they were eking it out for.
And
they didn't do it.
The relief is that they've stopped for a time being. They've stopped it in the dead horse now, so just hopefully we can recover from the outrages and the embarrassments. So onto a better future, eh?
Absolutely,
that's what I say.
Stephen.
Well, I've got mixed emotions, as I said about it, but at the end of the day, I'm just glad that if we had have had this special, it could have done even more damage, because if he's done this much damage in a statement, just imagine what his passing program could have been. He could have ruined it for the next 100 years, as far as I'm concerned.
And he would have done.
I think the future now is in the past, going back, looking at the classic series, rediscovering it. At the moment, I'm going through lots of 60s episodes and really enjoying them. If I'm going to plug anyone, I haven't got my own channel, but I'll plug Film is Fabulous. I said way back when I saw this starting, there was a possibility of them finding stuff. They found all sorts of different programs. I think there's a lot
more to look forward to. I think. Yeah, we're going to see a few treasures pop out. I know from speaking to a couple of people that there are at least one complete story out there from what I know of.
Well, that's exclusive. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, there's also a couple of episodes that will plug a few gaps. Let's put it that way. So I'm really excited. I can't confirm it, but that's what I've been.
Nothing to do with a certain anniversary, is it? That you happen to mention that?
An anniversary.
It's coming up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Trout's anniversary.
Just wondered, I just wondered. No. Because they did it with Eric Morecambe, it just happened to coincide with his 100th, and I just wondered.
Could be. Could be. I can't
Could
say
be,
any
can't
more
say.
than what
Right, fair
what
enough.
I've been told.
But that's something to look forward to. But
Well, there
no,
is stuff to come. There is stuff.
I think the future is the past and discovering more lost episodes. I've been given into Film is Fabulous since last November every month. It just becomes something I do every month now. And every few weeks they come up with something wonderful that is going to be seen. And the thing about them is, I can remember going back when old episodes used to come back. I remember when going way back, and we had Face This One's Free, and even the Daleks come back, and it was reported in like DWB and that, and we didn't see it for years. It was just stuck in the archive, and I used to think, okay, so it's come back, we're not going to see it. What's the point? Whereas now, if things come back, they'll just start filling the gaps up on iPlayer, and we'll be able to see them just like a few weeks later. So,
and hopefully they'll be released properly. Yeah,
released properly. But I think the future is very positive for the past of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And it's good to see some of the older stars like Peter Purvis, who's had this massive resurgence in popularity because so many of his episodes are missing, and now more and more of them become uncovered. More and more people can see what a performance he had as that particular character. And the same with Adrian Hill when she was playing Katerina. Suddenly we got nearly all of her stuff back. So I think the future's honestly, the past, I don't see Doctor Who coming back for a long time, to be honest, if it does.
The past is the future. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. The past is the future.
Right, Jack, do you want to plug anybody?
Yes.
Plug yourself.
I'm starting up my Jack Rabbit podcast channel again, so I hope to be doing lots of talks on that with Problem Being and PD and hopefully a few others. So hopefully that goes well. I will be talking about Doctor Who and other things, so it's not just Doctor Who centered. But yeah, hope to get on that as quickly as I can. And to add on to your statement that you said earlier, Noel, I just want to say that for all the bad things that have happened to the show, I've met some really amazing people, some of which are still friends to this day, and some who have actually saved my life. And I mean that literally. So Doctor Who saved your life, Nolan. You and Lee very much saved mine. So, I don't know what I'd have done if I didn't have you guys to talk to when I needed it and to go on this amazing journey with, and gave me the confidence to even do YouTube in the first place. So I just want to thank all of you for that. And it's amazing, isn't it, that despite the show being destroyed, shat on by these horrible people, it still does what it's always done, and that's bring people together. And that's what it's done with that.
That's wise words. Yeah.
Wise words, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. Look, Jack, I think you're a good bloke. I've said this to you before. I think you're very talented. I will say here, you should believe in yourself a little bit more because you've got a lot to offer. As I said, your talent speaks for itself. You have excellent. You've got a lot to get off your chest. I'm glad you're actually doing your podcast again because I think that's where you're in your element. To be quite honest with you, and when you're doing your artwork, so it's just been a pleasure. To be quite honest with you, just watching like Daniel as well grow these last few years. And I'm just proud of the two of you, to be quite honest with you. I'm proud of you. You've handled the situation's thrown at you very well, to be quite honest with you. I don't think there would have been a lot of people that would have been able to go through what you went through and come out the other side. I'm just glad that when you were at your maybe your lowest, you were able to come to me and talk to me. That meant a lot to me personally. It just goes to show you are right that we do all have a personal connection. A lot of people think, these lads just do podcasts together. A lot of us have actually built up friendships and we do talk behind the scenes and we do talk about our personal...
You should know. Sorry, what?
Sorry, I'm just being odd, but I'm just saying is that I'm proud of you, and you should be proud of what you did yourself these last few years, and It'll be great to see you move forward now in the future and prosper even more. So long may it continue. So I'll go to Lee and ask Lee if he wants to plug anybody. Normally he doesn't give a bollocks, but let's see if he does today. Lee, do you want to plug anybody?
Well, I will plug that Jack's channel, Jack Rabbit Podcast. We will be doing some. I don't know if we're planning to do streams of videos at the moment. We'll see, because obviously things like StreamYard are such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So
Everyone's
it might just be
complaining about
like a video chat, more like a video thing.
Plus, I do have a certain editor who's always busy.
He's got to earn money, mate.
Jesus
I
Christ.
just want to sleep.
Now.
That's all I want to do is sleep now.
That's what you
Jack,
two
you
should
can
do.
use
A
clip
podcast of Jack just giving shit to Lee.
You know
That's-
it. You know it.
That's it. Right.
Clip chat, Jack. If I could dodge clip chat, you can.
It's all good.
Right, well, anyway, do you know what I'm going to do to end this stream on a bit of a happy note? I'm going to actually let Jack do the outro.
I haven't said anything yet.
Yeah, Pete.
After
Always
PD.
forgets me.
Sorry, yes. After PD, Rich obviously gets to say what he needs to say. Sorry, PD. Go ahead.
I'm just a bit in mixed emotions about this whole thing. I just want to just turn around and say to the industry, could you please stop jumping on trends and stop trying to find this imaginary audience you keep looking for, and just go back to how it used to be when things worked.
Yeah.
But plugging, you got Dan, you got Rabbi. I'm with Dan and Rabbi. I'm on Dan at the weekends. I'm with Rabbi most of the week. Oh yeah, and Gobby and Whittle the fans are still out there, so they still exist.
And I will say as well, there's a reason why Classic Who ran for 26 seasons, 26 years, and worked and survived that long, and why New Who didn't.
Yeah, it's going to go like Star Trek, Lee. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going back to Legacy Star Trek now.
Yeah, hopefully
Anyway,
exactly the same.
Anyway,
there you go, Jack.
I don't think there'll be any more to say on this now moving forward, unless we hear something, something obviously is said and we find out that what's gone on. But moving forward, obviously, I still have plans to do Classic Who's on. I know I keep saying it, but that is the next thing that I hope to do. We'll be doing those William Hartnell missing stories. So you can, if you want to join that panel, if there's any of the guests that are on now that want to join that panel, you're more than welcome to do so. I will let you know closer to the time, obviously, when we do it. I do hope to do it next week. I keep saying next week, but next week I do hope to actually do it. So look out for that. In the meantime, if there is any more fallout from all of this debacle, then I'll be on ranting and raving as I always do. And if you have liked what has been said,
you got a right to do that now.
What's that?
You got a right to do that now.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Everyone else can eat crow. We were right, you were wrong. Piss off.
That's it. Right, Jack, do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
How do you want me to do it?
Tardis style.
Okay. Right. Well. Thank yous for tuning in. Thank yous to all of yous in the chat, and thank you so much for the £50 donation. Right, I'm gonna head down to my local shops, get the biggest chicken I can find, and we're gonna be eating plenty tonight. It's much better than the shite out of the can that we've been eating for the past month. Thank you to all of yous, and don't forget to subscribe. We're the best channel on the internet. We're the best Doctor Who channel. Yeah, you heard it. You heard it here, folks. Right, listen. So yeah, right. I'm gonna finish up, guys, because I'm way over time. StreamYard are gonna be at the front door. I don't know. So thank you, all of you.
Take care, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye for now, lads.
Right.
Brilliant. That's the best one yet. Good night, folks. And on that note, we'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.